Hello there and welcome back to the SWTV show right here on YouTube, the streaming home of the SWTVC crew and the ongoing push for the continued existence, expansion, and success of the heritage scale of Star Wars collecting. I am Evan, or as you may know me on Instagram, at Mile High Ground, but joining me today, I'm not here alone, is Lewis, aka Space Hut, aka the British one. How you doing, man?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, good.
Right on. We're also joined today by Tyler, or SW Collector 3.75, or you may know him as the guy that bought all the Stormtroopers. How you doing, bud?
Good. I'm excited for today. It's going to be good.
Heck yeah. And then last but certainly not least, you know him, you love him. He's the guy who single-handedly makes up 95% of the SWTVC team's collective brain power and mustache glory. It is the Vintage Concepts himself, John.
Hello. I was going to say, don't I have 100% of the mustache glory? I guess, Lucy, got a little bit of stuff going on today.
I don't know. I didn't shave for a couple days. I got a couple little spits coming out here. It's great.
Mine's less of a fashion choice and more of a kind of false thing where I'm living in a building site. So yeah.
Four grown men collecting toys with a little bit of facial hair between them all. It's great. All right. Well, let's see. Let's say hello to everybody in the chat today. Ooh, we got 114 people here. That is awesome. Real quick shout out to Riley Bob. Thanks for the super chat, man. Appreciate you. Good to see you. Yeah, we don't know where this is going. Only one of four of us actually knows what's going to happen today. So it's great. Let's see. We got Toys Are the Way in the chat. We got middle-aged Kiwi man.
Hey.
Hello. Kirora.
Daniel Chart. A lot of familiar names here today.
Good morning from Korea. Wow.
Jay Guy.
Dude, we have somebody tuning in from New Zealand. We have somebody tuning in from South Korea. I assume South Korea. You just said Korea.
Yeah,
I'm gonna assume it's the good Korea. But if you have internet in North Korea, I'm impressed. But we got people tuning in from all over the world here, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's super awesome.
Right.
We've gone international. It's great. All right. Well, everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. We know it's a large ask sometimes to be like, hey guys, in the middle of your wonderful weekend, please spend some time to listen to us talk about toys. Here we are. Here you are.
Portugal,
let's do this.
UK.
So before we get into the March Madness of it all, where we'll talk about stuff that we wish we had in our collections, let's take a moment to appreciate the things that we've recently been able to actually add to our collections. I know Disney just recently put up and shipped out this year's Easter droid, R2BNE, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, R2 Bunny.
Yes, and that arrived this week too, nice and quick. Wonderful. Lewis, do you guys have the opportunity to get this one yet?
So this one, no. Shop Disney over here, they don't seem to put them up as pre-orders. I've kind of worked them out now. They just seem to hold these things until they get them in stock and then they throw it up and then it will come straight out. They've actually put it on, they put a page up now. I've been stalking them for about last week. They put a page up now, but it says sold out. So obviously they're just waiting for whatever that stock is. So anyone who is after one, keep an eye on it because as soon as it goes into stock, yeah, it'll probably be available.
Cool. Yeah, it's a fun one, man. I like it. I love the little bunny ears accessory. I can't wait to put that on other droids that don't need it, but they'll happen anyway. So U.S. collectors,
we'll get to Jackson for a while, but yeah.
Oh, sad. I know U.S. collectors have been eating good though, with a new wave arriving in both months of 2025 so far. We got the Luke wave in January, and now the Snowtrooper wave is actually shipped out from Entertainment Earth here in the U.S. over the last couple weeks. Do we, besides Lewis, do we all have that one?
Yes. I got my case, so I need some.
See, that's why I've got Mole there. He's looking annoyed.
Yeah.
Gaze upon its glory.
The rage. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Should take a second to talk about how good this Snowtrooper is.
Yeah.
You know me, I'm a lightsaber dork. But this figure is maybe my new favorite non-saber wielding figure. It's one of my favorite trooper designs from the original trilogy. I think he was on my March Madness list in the first year we did this. I'm so excited to have this figure. It's awesome, dude. What do you guys think? Are you hyped? I know Tyler put together a really cool Instagram reel for it that we posted earlier this week. If I was a better person, I would have been more prepared and put that up for you guys to watch. But now, alas, here we are. So
it's such a phenomenal figure, man. Do we want to talk about it now real quick, or do we want to talk about the whole wave? Or
yeah, let's just chat a little bit about the whole wave. We don't need to get too far into it, but I mean, obviously, Tyler, I know you're going to want to talk about the best figure of the year.
All right, listen. For the vast majority of this stream, I'm going to be happy, bubbles, rainbows, and unicorns. Okay, this is the fun event, and I don't want to drag it down. However, comma. This wave is an emotional roller coaster because on one hand, you've got these beautiful masterpieces here. Okay. This figure is a perfect 10. I mean, I know there's some people out there that are having a hard time with like the flat top of the helmet. I don't know, man. I'm too ecstatic to have such an amazing Snowtrooper to have such a minor thing bother me personally. I just think it's such a minor thing. Some people it's not a minor thing. I get it. I respect that. But this is the definitive Snowtrooper that we've been waiting for since 1980. I mean, it just is. It's beautiful and a masterpiece, and I love it. And I can't wait to bankrupt myself with 100 more of them. Now, we also have this pilot who I haven't opened yet, but I'm very excited about it. I love getting New Republic stuff. I love having sort of a new faction to build out, and I want more of that. I want the New Republic troopers in the blue uniforms with the the sort of classic rebel helmets. Give me more New Republic stuff. I want it. I want more. I like this. More of this. This is good. And then we've got Imperial Chopper. I know people like John love this sort of thing. For me,
I'm looking forward to that one. It's a repaint I'm quite happy to get.
It's not terribly exciting,
right.
but
it's not. It's
smart.
an Imperial, Tyler. Shouldn't you love it by default? It's one of those things where
my droids. No, I'm just kidding.
if they're gonna repack stuff, and they are gonna repack and repaint stuff, like I'd like them to do stuff that's actually in the shows or movies.
Sure. Yeah.
Instead of just a straight repack of something from 12, 13 years ago, which
Yes. Yeah. And that brings us to the stinkers of the year together in the same wave. You've got the worst figure of the year easily, and the second worst figure of the year in the same wave. Bravo, Hasbro, truly bravo. Now, again, I'm going to try not to be too negative here, but I first of all, nobody asked for this figure. I didn't see a single person over the past 5 years saying, "Hey, they should repack or sing," especially not with less paint and less accessories than the original release for more money. Ain't nobody asked for that. Yeah. And when we're crying out last year for to celebrate the Phantom Menace 25, this is not what we had in mind. Okay, we're talking about Darth Maul, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Qui-Gon Jinn. Yes, we have those in the vintage collection already, but they're very old. And Evan, I'm sure you want to say something about this with Black Series, but this is not what we're talking about when we say we want to celebrate the anniversary. Okay, this is not it. Not it.
Yeah, Tyler, we had chatted just briefly before we hopped on about this too, where the Black Series one's got the new versions of these characters. Yes, we already have these figures. We don't always need to spend time updating stuff, but it's hard when they say you already have this, but then in the same breath go and then do definitive retakes of other figures for Black Series as well, when their oldest figures are still newer than some of the definitive versions of characters that we have. It's tough. I don't know, but don't need to dwell on it too much.
And then, for this one, I've battled so many people back and forth about, oh, this supports the cantina. It's a smart repack, right? No, I'm sorry. I have to completely disagree with you. There's no swivel hipped figure that is a smart repack in 2025. It doesn't exist. I'm sorry. It doesn't exist. I was just watching a video by another prominent name in the toy collecting community, not necessarily our TVC community, but the community, right? And one of the things they said was 6 inch, the Black Series is the definitive action figure scale. And it's like, when I hear things like that, this does not help us. Okay. This does not help the vintage collection when we're fighting against that argument. Okay. Like repacking this figure doesn't do this line any favors. And if people needed this from their, for their cantina, they could go to eBay. This doesn't have any business being repacked in 2025. I'm sorry. I just completely disagree. I totally disagree. Anyway, I've said my piece. Let's move on to happier things. Let's go back to worshiping this because it's freaking beautiful, and more of that. More of these definitive releases, right?
Yeah, it's awesome to see that. Celebrate the good, and sometimes it comes at the cost of the stinker.
And that's the thing is I'm not always negative, right? I praise when they deserve to be praised, and I criticize when they deserve to be criticized. And to be clear, they've done some amazing work lately, like the Snowtrooper and Anakin and Leia and Luke, and even this pilot looks pretty good to me. I know it's using a sort of male chess piece, right? But I think it's
you
pretty
forgot
well
to mention my
executed.
favorite figure of the year so far, Indara, but
Oh yeah, yes, Dara. Yeah. I still haven't opened her yet, but I'm sure she's wonderful. She looks wonderful. So
one of these days, Tyler. One of these days.
yeah.
On the subject of Black Series and this wave real quick, I'm sorry, Tyler, you can look away, but comparing the vintage and the Black Series one, they are the same digital sculpt. It is very clearly the same folds in the mask and the arms and the legs and everything.
Very interesting.
So, obviously later in the stream, we'll be talking about figures we want in the vintage collection. Several of them perhaps are already in the Black Series, which it does sting, but the fact that they are already in Black Series and those digital sculpts exist means if and when they bring them into TVC, they're not completely starting from zero, and they can use those digitals. Obviously, there's a lot of work to be done. The tooling needs to be done. They need to be reworked with different articulation cut points and all these things. But
saves a little bit on that development time.
Yeah, it's not a complete from the ground up.
The Black Series Snowtrooper has plastic. Plastic comma though, right? Yeah. See.
Yeah.
That's one of the ways, they say the other scale is the definitive scale. I'm sorry, we got the better deal here. All right. This is objectively better. All right.
It's the test run scale, isn't it? We get it in Black Series first, and we get a better version. So.
I think
they
it was
Balin and Shin at the same size, and we get the corrected versions.
Yeah,
a little bit later.
Of the way posted a. I'm not going to pose the whole thing right now, but he in his review he had the Snowtrooper kind of running. And he used the soft goods to make it look like the comma was billowing in the wind like this. And I was just like, man, that's so good. And you can't do that with plastic. You can't. So damn near perfect execution on this.
Yeah.
So again, praise when it's warranted and criticize when it's warranted, So
John, on the subject though of them scaling things down, I was not that I have both of them. If I did, that would be wild. But hypothetically, looking at the new Leia in Vintage Collection and Black Series, and it looked like the torso is actually a different sculpt. It wasn't.
I haven't compared those, so I can't really comment on that. But.
So but I think the rest was probably reused in terms of digital files. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes. Can we highlight Jay's comment here? Just real quick. Yes, I'm really hoping that we get Veers and the Snowtrooper Commander, which is just a retool, right? And the AT-AT driver, which is probably going to take a little bit more new tooling, but in a timely manner. Veers is probably the easiest one. Veers and the Snowtrooper Commander are the easiest ones to knock out, most likely. But
get them in 2030 for the 60th. Be good.
One more thing I'll say on the Snowtrooper. Yeah, you can get the Commander. They tooled the unlike the Black Series, they also tooled the shoulder pads separately, which they kind of move up, and they're upside down on the Commander, so they can do different sculpts on that. And then they can do the Flame Trooper from Fallen Order, which they also they did in Black Series, but it's the Snowtrooper base body.
With like a different head, right?
Yeah, it's a different head. It's a more McQuarrie style head. There's some differences throughout the armor, but not a whole ton. But yeah.
just to move on a little bit from this wave, keep going. Lewis, did you got the Luke and Anakin wave, or is that shipping over there for you?
Middle of last week? Yeah, we got that wave middle of last week, which I mean, it's a fantastic wave. It's funny, it distorts your perception because you're seeing all this stuff coming up on Instagram, and you kind of feel like you're the last person in the world to get it. And when I posted mine, there was a lot of guys in the US who were saying, "Oh, we still haven't got ours yet." So it is easy to kind of feel that, you know, everyone's running away now, and you're getting the Snowtrooper wave. But I think even it's kind of isolated areas, you know, certain retailers. So yeah, hopefully ours won't be too far behind. I think Everzan already popped up at the whole shebang. They did have Everzan for some reason, but none of the others. So I'm not sure if any of the others have come through at any other retailers yet. Not that I'm aware of.
It's also so odd that they're a fan channel exclusive, right? I mean,
yeah, that's
why.
It's another one where, hey, definitive Stormtrooper and TVC, it'll never see mainline store shelves, but here you go.
Like this is the stuff that needs to be on pegs in brick and mortar, man. I mean, it's sold out like everywhere, right? It's sold out on EE. It's sold out on Pulse, right? I don't know how it's doing on. Well, is it on Amazon? Amazon counts as fan channel.
Yeah,
right?
Amazon, they carry fan channel too. Yeah,
I'm not sure if it's sold out on Amazon, but
GameStop counts as fan channel too, though. So it is possible you could walk into a store and find one.
True.
Yeah,
that happened with the Stormtrooper recently with me.
And
a VC231.
It could feed into this thing, and I know we were going to perhaps touch on it slightly, but Hasbro's recent, announcement about how the company is going and how they're viewing things, and they're talking about certainly things going much more collector focused rather than toy focused. And you have to wonder if they're specifically pushing this stuff through fan channels because it's a better way of them selling them rather than trying to put them on, in stores.
Yeah,
I just don't know.
My Star Wars guy says it's also sold out on Amazon. That's wild.
Right.
Damn, that's awesome.
But and to your point, Lewis, about the availability from different waves, like I'm still waiting on Dedra Miro from Pulse, and I'm still waiting on the single figures. I don't know if Pulse has shipped out any of these first two waves yet. I'm not 100% sure. I know EE has done individuals. I got my case of Teth Phase 1 Lieutenant 501st clones, whatever they are, this week, and haven't gotten my case of individual Snowtrooper case yet. But so things are still working their way through the system. So I'm not completely done on Wave 1 yet either.
Since we're on the topic.
I haven't opened that yet.
Of that clone, did anybody else enjoy getting 20 to 30 of the same emails about that figure shipping from Pulse? Your system had a moment. Oh man!
And I'm still very confused. What were you gonna say, this?
Well, I was going to say I had a similar thing. It was pre-Christmas because I remember we was on a stream and I actually said I had an IG-12 notification that it was shipping soon, and that was pre-Christmas. So we've been getting the same weird things going on as well, but it's obviously a computer error because I still haven't seen that yet, and I think that's months away.
And then sometimes it's either you're getting this email for one of two reasons: either your thing's about to ship, or it's got a new date, which could be still 8 months away or whatever. And so you got to read all the way down. But with my, I'm getting some feedback. Is somebody giving me some
I think
feedback?
It's coming from you, Tyler.
I got an email that Dedra Miro was going to ship February 11th, but now it says March 1st on the website. It's just a little confusing. So still don't have her either way. So I don't know.
Thanks, Evan. I guess you're gonna have to manually unmute me. I really don't know what's going on. I just want to say we got 160 people in here. That is awesome. I don't know if that's a record for us. It might be.
Wow.
But thank you all, and of course, 2 people just left when I said that. Thanks, guys. No, thank you all for attending all over the world once again. If you don't mind, hit that like button.
Yeah,
it's super.
Make sure you're subscribed.
So.
Well, let's do all 158 people a favor and let's move this along. Entertainment Earth is also apparently shipping the IG-12 Grogu and Anzellan set. Amazon updated the release date to March 10th, I believe. And I also got your order will ship soon email from Pulse for it on the 11th, but no movement. John, you just said that you'd gotten that for Dedra.
And then on the same wave, I know we don't need to go in the whole thing, but I know we got the visual aids here of the new box is now sideways instead of vertical. So does this help the It's obviously the same size, I guess, a little bit smaller actually, maybe. I don't know, but no, same size, whatever. But yeah, so maybe just the way that they're packed in there, it's less likely for them to be smushed together.
If I may, I think
gambit to solve the bubble rub problem. Yeah.
From my understanding was it's because these are not perfectly square. So when they're put in one way, they're compressed a little bit more. So that's where we're getting the bubble rub from. So hopefully it's rectified a little bit in this sideways, the side loading side, since there's only one way, you know, they can appropriately put it in. So we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, sorry.
Really?
This is the first wave where they're doing it sideways, right?
Yeah. Do you have veining on the Evazon?
Veining, like up at the
like above the peg hole?
No.
Okay.
A little bit, actually. I lied. A little bit. Little bit.
Any on Aura?
Yeah, some of them.
No, but the corner's a little smushed.
Okay. Yeah, I have
a little bit of veining, and I've heard.
Yeah.
I've seen more comments about that. Yeah.
But no ring of death though.
Yeah.
On any of these.
Pick your poison. A little bit of veining around the peg, or
I think
just open them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think veining is a little less obvious. I mean, obviously we don't want either problem, but I think it can be hard to see veining from some angles, whereas if you got a big white ring around the front of the card, that's hard to miss. So.
TVC Datalorian, if you see that, make sure to report to tag Mr. Stevie in that if you see it on Instagram post or something, or let us know too. We'll see what happens.
I know in the UK we've had real trouble. Well, I say I don't collect them on cards, but we have real trouble trying to get the Luke out that veining around the peg hole. It seems to be a problem, certainly on the batch we've had over here. I don't know what it's been like for you guys, but I know a lot of the guys who grade cards, they're just struggling to find something that's gradable just because of the condition that they're coming in.
Yeah. Being a carded collector, man, the things we go through. And
I didn't even look at mine before I opened it, so I couldn't tell if it was veining on it or not.
Rare unveined variant opened. So, let's keep going then. Let me add this. So in the news, there was an announcement. I'll just read the copy here for it. Transmission incoming across the HoloNet. Word is spreading fast across the galaxy. A new Hasbro Star Wars fan stream is on the horizon. Tune in on February 26th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on the Hasbro Pulse YouTube channel for some exciting new reveals from Star Wars The Black Series and the Vintage Collection and more. The Empire, Rebels, Jedi, and Sith alike won't want to miss this transmission. Ooh, what does it mean? What will we see? What can we get? Who knows?
All 64 figures.
Yeah.
Every year of the bracket, clearly.
Just to be somewhat helpful here, here's a reminder of where we're at with the pipeline. This is it. It's just these. Ben Obi-Wan Kenobi, who is expected to be all new. Han Solo from A New Hope, expected to be all new. Chewbacca from A New Hope. We wish he was expected to be all new, but he'll at least have new legs. I know likely we all would hope he was all new, whatever. And Mama Nadon, or AKA Hammerhead, for those of you more Kenner-minded, that's expected to be all new and deluxe. The Obi-Wan, Han, and Chewbacca were pipelined on June 7th alongside the Luke that we recently just got.
27th.
What?
June 27th, it says in the notes?
June 7th were for those three. Hammerhead was June 27th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Yep. So yeah. That's where we stand with the pipeline. That's it. They've kind of smashed through everything else there. So not in the pipeline, and something that we assume is coming is the land speeder from that promo banner, but we talked about that at length already, so we don't need to go over that. Tune into the last show from 2 weeks ago if you want to hear more on that. That said, there's no guarantee that these things in the pipeline are what we're going to see. There's bound to be plenty of stuff that is unknown. The real question is, John, you just highlighted that, right?
Yes. Yeah. You can do it. I'll touch the comments. Last week we were both doing the comments and they were flashing up.
Well, yeah, to touch on, let's see, that was Tanith. Yes. So the real question is, will they announce anything that's on the bracket we're about to go over? We'll find out. Fingers crossed that John isn't blindsided with some last-minute scrambling to revise the bracket after all of the hard work this month. But at the same time, would we really be that upset if something awesome that we seem to collectively want as a community gets revealed? We'll find out.
Yes. So After we announced this stream, they announced their stream. So because of that stream, I have not finalized the actual physical visual bracket itself yet. In a bit, today we'll be going over the top 64 figures that will make up the bracket. If any of them get announced in the stream, which would be awesome, which is what we're all here for, which is what we hope to see, we'll remove them and bump up everyone else 1 point. The bracket itself will be revealed next week after the stream so that I don't have to scramble. So there you go.
I saw a comment on, someone had posted the link to this stream on Reddit. Thank you to whoever you are, kind stranger. One of the comments over there I'd seen was talking about if something was revealed during the tournament, you know, if the tournament's already going, their opponent in that round would then go through. I think that's kind of what we're operating on in the unlikely event that we had started voting by the time this goes. But luckily that stream's here in February, but if something were to happen in March, so.
And people ask about that every year. It has actually never happened so far, but we have sometimes gotten reveals after the submissions that we have to take off. So there you go.
Notably last year, Cop Vanth was revealed after the submission window. I think after the submission window had closed. So, yep.
Or actually right before it had. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because that gave people a couple days to fix it. Alas, not many people got that one.
Yeah.
So, other than that, you know, Hasbro's thing, Lewis, you had brought up their new thing called Play to Win, their strategy. Honestly, I don't want to dive into that today. I don't really care about all the corporate mumbo jumbo. Let's focus on the happy beeps and not get into that, as we do not have the actual expertise, marketing, business, product development, consumer habits, and rage bait content generation to really appropriately cover that the way people want. So I really just brought it up for this segue. Speaking of playing to win, let's find out which characters are going to be doing that this year in TVC March Madness 2025. Take it away, John.
Wow. Here we go, everybody. Here we go. Smash that like button, like and subscribe, all that stuff. So we talked about March Madness. If you don't know what it is by now, I'll give a slight review. Every January, we ask for your top 25 most wanted, all new vintage collection figures. This year, we got 1,261 good lists. They're great lists. We had to get rid of some obvious duplicates, you know, and had to clean up where people submitted multiple times because they couldn't find the original email to edit their stuff, that kind of stuff. And bless some of you guys who submitted 25 different Darth Vaders or 25 different Shin Hatis or 15 of the same exact Qui-Gon. I see you, I respect you, I love you, and that's it doesn't count for the bracket. So there you go. So there were over 30,000 individual entries to go through, well over 2,000 characters. A lot of the smaller ones I still need to clean up a little bit before releasing the top 100. 64 will make it onto this year's bracket. And as Savage Opress once said when he was fighting the Highlander, there can be only one. Maybe that was a different Clancy Brown role. I don't really remember. But all right, let's run them down.
Before we do,
okay,
John.
No,
if I may,
yes.
If I may, I just want to jump in here
yes.
and do a quick refresh of, you know, our personal top 25s, just so that we can look through the ones that we submitted and we can keep track. If that's okay, John.
You're going to go over all our top 25?
No, I'm not. I'm just going to flash them through the screen real quick. It's just a quick, quick refresher. So this was Tyler's, and, you know, Rook, obviously, got him there. A lot of bad guys. Dryden Voss for Lewis.
Yay.
John, sweet Simaloo. I see Jackson on there. And
yes.
Then, of course, mine, Stranger, and Bring Me Ben Solo, and all that fun stuff. So a little fresher there of what we were kind of, you know, voting for. So let's see how those all turn out. Throughout the stream, I'll be keeping track of at least mine, Tyler, Lewis, if you can try to do that as well. But if not, a big deal. I just kind of want to see where we're all at with our priorities. And if other people may or may not agree with us on some of these things, we'll find out. So.
Yes, and are there any other? I do have some other stats and facts we'll be getting into at the end of the reveal. But is there anything anybody's looking out for that you're curious about? Maybe I won't answer you right now, but I just want to know.
Saber wielders. How many of the people on this bracket are saber wielders? I'm thinking about it just with all the new figures, the trio of figures we just got that are lightsaber wielders. Incredible. You know, Chris Swansky just posted his review of, was it his review or just him enjoying posing Anakin and talking about how amazing that was, you know, as the sword fight figures now are awesome. And it's like, yeah, man, we're there. It's 2025.
Yes, and then we'll reveal 65. What are you gonna say, Lewis?
I know. I was just gonna say I'm really keen. there's a few figures, obviously a few characters I'm really keen on seeing, Dryden being one, but I am keen to see how much support Solos had this year. For me, I know it's anecdotal. When you're seeing a lot of other lists, Kira seemed to do really well this year. So I'll be really interested to see where she's come, because you might say she hasn't even made the bracket. But for me, when I'm looking through a lot of lists, there's certain characters that jump out. And I know sometimes it's because you're biased. Because Tyler often says, hey, this one's doing really well, you know. And then you look at the numbers and you go, okay, it hasn't doing that great. But so I'll be interested to see, because I have not looked at the numbers at all. As you know, we looked at them, you know, early days. I was flicking at, you know, just seeing how things were going. But I genuinely haven't looked for a while. So I just wanted to, you know, keep it a surprise.
Yeah. I want to see your guys' reactions live here. And somebody said, there was one submission for Glup Shido, got 1 point on one list, and then background character got 1 point on one list. Not even background with a G. Background.
So I want to say, whoever sacrificed a point to put that on their list, you deserve an award, good sir.
Alrighty, so let's write it down. Okay, who will it be? Okay, who will it be? Okay, who will it be? It'll be KB, number 64. Can you believe it? Skeleton Crew.
All right.
Her name is, there you go. First new to the bracket, first all new character on the bracket. Her name is easy to spell, but you know whose name isn't quite as easy to spell? Number 63. I got to click on the right thing. Oh, God. Well, don't look at the thumbnails, but it's Yatorin. And yeah, I did a little Photoshop work there for him. But now that the first skiff has been completed, the prisoner skiff, some fans are turning towards the second skiff. Last year he was ranked 74, so he raised up a little bit to 63 this year. Does he have 2 R's? Does he have 1 R? I don't know. So that's 2 new characters so far.
I know a lot of people are going to be very excited about this one making it into the bracket. There's a lot of people who wanted yachts to make it in. So
I mean, look at the background. The barge is in the background of that.
Yeah.
It's great. We're in a position where so much stuff has been made over the last year or two, you know, in terms of top wants, yeah, it's really interesting to see that stuff that is coming up. And to a degree, you think, well, perhaps we could predict it, but I'm glad to see him on there. You know, as much as we joke about the background characters, I think he would be a good one to throw out there. You know, some of the others are perhaps not quite as interesting, but, you know, makes a good alien.
Yeah, and like Matthew said up here, Wolf and Giran are some of the best figures ever. They're just awesome. So another green Nikto for these guys to be joined with. All right, I don't have fully written segues for all these, but some people will be very excited about that one. I think Tyler might be very excited about number 62 if I can get to him, because it is the Galactic Marine.
Yeah,
nice. So not just a repaint of the Snowtrooper is what we're saying, right?
Not just repaint.
Sorry, just kidding. No, didn't mean to trigger a meltdown there.
No, you're good. You're good. Yes.
Yeah, so in this,
and it's worth bringing up again that unfortunately, this guy does not mean that a Galactic Marine is on the way, because actually the tooling is very different. I don't think they share any tooling at all.
Nope.
Even though the designs are similar, I don't think there's a single piece of this Snowtrooper figure that we can use towards a Galactic Marine, unfortunately. So if you're out there saying, now they can do the Galactic Marine, well, not quite.
Yeah,
they gotta make it.
As was pointed out by people like J Guy Studios when he did the post about it, the Galactic Marine can be reused for the 41st Elite Corps Scout clone from Kashyyyk, which I will say did not make the bracket. Was ranked at 95 this year, so just
really
missed it by that much. Wow. So at least we got the Galactic Marine on here in this 20th anniversary year of Revenge of the Sith. Yeah.
I would have assumed that everybody that asked for the Marine would have also asked for that guy, but wow, I guess not. Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you know how that one compares to last year, the 41st? You probably don't have that.
No, I don't have that right now.
Interesting. I'd be curious to see that, but
yeah, there's a lot of questions will come up, but I will have to get to some of them later.
Yeah.
But so
sorry, that's a good one. Classic Marine joke there. I appreciate you, Doug. That's a good one.
So there were a lot of people asking for clones in general. This is all about all new tooled figures. So Cody did well. He did not make the bracket, but he was the highest ranked sort of regular clone, perhaps a sort of an irregular clone, you might say, or a different version of one. Would be number 61, Captain Rex from Rebels, from the planet Sealos, making his bracket debut.
Very
previously, cool. I don't have his ranking right here, but that would have been nice if I had that. I believe he was in the top 100 the past few years, but yeah, he's on the bracket now.
And again, I think it's one of those that rises up because people want to start building around that ghost.
Yep, absolutely. So is he the last Rebels character we'll see today? Maybe not. I don't know. Stay tuned for that. But if he was, I probably wouldn't have made that little foreshadowing. But then up next is a second time. Is it the second time? Yeah, the second time on the bracket. More classic character, has appeared in everything from Empire Strikes Back to as recently as Ahsoka. It's 2-1B, so we better take care, sir, because it's his second time. Last year he was 57. He was 65 in 2021. He's been kind of hovering near the bottom of the bracket. So he's a little bit lower, but it's kind of consistent year over year.
Yeah, there's still consistency there. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
With elbows, yes. All right, so.
And that same droid has been used in a lot, right? It's in Revenge of the Sith too, right? When Vader's getting
different style, but yeah.
Is it well, what about in Ahsoka when they're on the flashback at Tef and there's all the injured clones?
Tyler.
Oh,
also, you may refer to when I said that 10 seconds ago, but it's also it's more prominent in the scene after Sabine gets stabbed by Shin. It's in the zombies in the hospital. There's a Rogue One version, all these things, so they just repaint possibilities and repack opportunities for sure. So yeah, it goes all across the saga. All right, ready for another new to the bracket character?
Let's do it.
Maybe not character, but appearance. Number 59, Ezra Bridger from Ahsoka in his Peridia outfit, his Moses look as he's getting ready to part the Red Sea. You know, if you followed the Black Series leaks, maybe he's coming to that scale, but he hasn't been fully announced yet. So I don't know about that.
Good choice by the community on this one, and yet not surprising. I mean, we need this one.
Yeah,
I will say they've done a really good job at covering Ahsoka. In my opinion, there's really only a handful of stuff left that they need to do to pretty much check that media source off in terms of being largely complete.
So what you're saying is, Tyler, you want to army build Notty, yeah?
I'll tell you, if they made the Noti with the pod, I mean, we're getting Balin and Shin. We have the Howlers. We have the Night Troopers. If they want to do that, and so we can completely make that scene where they're all fighting amongst the pods, and I mean, fine. If people are going to buy that, fine. But let's see. How did the Noti do, John? Do you know? How they ranked?
Let me see real quick.
I'm just curious.
Number 30,000.
Number 454 currently, and that might go down a little bit.
All right, so I'm just gonna say probably not super high demand.
Well, I want them. All right.
Yeah, I do too.
But yes, but they've done a fantastic job covering Ahsoka. Other series could be covered a little better, of course, but I got to credit where credit's due. The Ahsoka offerings have been fantastic.
Yes.
So yeah, Ezra would go towards continuing that mini beat. And then, okay, where are we here? We're going to number 58. Another one that is in the Black Series, not Vintage Collection, was ranked number 70 last year, if I'm reading that right. Yes, and is now 58. The Pike Soldier.
Ooh, I know Lewis likes this one.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Was that on your list? I didn't memorize all your lists.
Yeah, it's been on my list for a couple of years now, actually, and it's one of those that, especially with Outlaws coming out this year, it was another one that's kind of went up in my list a bit because I just think we need to army build those guys.
Still need to play that, buy that, and play that. But
yeah, a lot of this year's characters that I had no idea who they were from Outlaws, from the submissions. It was like Stungo Dungus. Outlaws. Okay, great. I haven't played it yet. But I can't wait to
Is that really character. Somebody's name? Stungo Dungus?
No. But know, so. Could be. I don't know. But as you said before, aside aside from Cobb Vanth without his armor, the Pike Soldier is the only Book of Boba Fett character in Black Series that's not in Vintage Collection. So the scales are very close to balance on there. TVC actually has a couple that are not in Black Series, like Boba Fett himself from that series.
Well, they do have a 6-inch version now in that Hero.
That's true with the Mix
Smashers.
Smashers.
That people are finding at Walmart today. Go run! Stop watching this. Buy that now.
So yes, so the Pike Soldier, as I'm seeing some of the comments, it could be a 4-pack. Some of them had copper masks, some of them had silver masks, some of them didn't have a mask, and you could just use the different configurations. They could do a single card one, then a 4-pack with the different colors and some of the different weapons. That would be awesome. And
Mike was 67 last year, so he just didn't make it last year.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, I had 70. Some of my things are sometimes I have extra things up top I need to remove. So thank you, Tanith, for keeping me honest as always. So, all right, here we've had a lot of new guys, but how about another repeat from last year? He was 55 last year. Now he's 57, so pretty consistent. But it's Keller and Beck from the Man.
Hey, all right.
Yes.
Ahmed Best himself returning to the role.
Yes.
So performed consistently with last year. Evan, I'm sure you have extensive notes on his costume and how it can be reused for and from different characters. But
yeah, that we'll do a deep dive on Jedi stuff one of these days. You guys are gonna love
the
it.
Visuals will be amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. But yeah, just especially that collar. The collar on his shirt is. I mean, they could do it with deco, but still, just the thickness of that on the robe or on his tunic is a little bit unique. So
yeah, I love all the gold patterning and stuff on there.
Yeah,
the double lightsabers, you could pack them in with a bark speeder and not another Grogu. A couple of people did vote for Grogu, which I thought was funny because I think we are pretty well covered on that guy.
If you can't find a Grogu that you like in the Vintage Collection at this moment, I don't know what to tell you, Chief. There's a few to choose from.
Yeah, you don't need to look too far to find him.
Yeah.
Beach so the best one. I'm kidding.
We are missing some of his prams and stuff, but that's for we'll do our top 64 Grogu variants another time.
Oh, I can hear Favreau just rubbing his hands together. It's like, yeah.
Speaking of Beach Ball Grogu, real quick, I'm just thinking of Tim because I don't know why I always think about Tim when I hear that phrase. But you guys are going to be streaming next weekend, right? That's confirmed.
Yes. So yes. So we can talk
not
about
to spill the
later,
beans.
Well, I guess I probably should have mentioned earlier. But
we got
so
180 people here. I felt like it was a good time to mention.
Yes. So yeah, over on Tim's channel, Box Bunny, we'll be going over the bracket as I have done with him for the past couple of years. I was going to say 3 or 4. But where we go through and we do our own little run of it, and what us and other guests on the show like, what we prefer and would like to see, but as a little preview of what could happen. Dryden Voss took it all last year, did not exactly work out that way in the final bracket. But
it's so interesting though. Yeah.
I think that made people vote against him. I think he was hard done by because of that.
Yeah, everybody's like, oh, he's a shoo-in now, but
those streams are always a blast. So I love that you guys do those, John.
Yeah.
So
awesome. Looking forward to that. It's always very fun, especially when everybody's calling each other totally crazy. They're like, "What are you talking about?"
And because last year we did the reveal stream on Saturday and the bracket stream Sunday. I wanted to give each of them a little more space this time. So later this week, I'll be having some more posts about the repeat characters, and we'll get into that more at the end of this stream. And the top 100 and all that stuff, and then the bracket will be revealed later this week, and then on Saturday we'll do the bracket stream with Tim, and then the voting will probably start Monday after that, which I believe is March 3rd. So put that in your calendars, and it will be at the same Linktree address that we had for the submissions. So the Linktree in our bio will have all the voting. You don't need social media, you don't need anything other than a computer and a dream.
We'll touch on that later because you will also maybe need a Google account, but we'll touch on that.
Yes, that's true. Okay, so anyway, someone who doesn't have a Google account but has been on the bracket 3 times so far, making his 4th appearance. He was not on first year. Is a man, do. Another finished the 96. I believe the second one so far. I haven't been keeping track between him and 21B. So yes, a deluxe was released in 2001, but he was 58 and then 47 and 42 last year, and now he's 56. So it's been in the 40s and 50s. Let me see.
Zucchini, man.
He has never won a round. Yes, he's actually Banana Man. That's why he's named a Man, because it's close to Banana Man. If you didn't know that. But so yeah, both. Yeah. So 2NB was on last year. Did not make it past the round of 64. Man was on it 3 times. Has never made it past the first round of voting. But maybe this year is his year. We don't know.
Interesting.
It'd be interesting. If I mean, he'd have to be a deluxe, I'm assuming. So again, people that want him knocked off for the 96 on a card could be disappointed. I don't know. I hope not. I hope that Hasbro could find a way of doing that.
The Hammerhead will be a preview of that whenever they reveal him, because he'll probably be deluxe because he was deluxe in Black Series and reveal.
I can't wait to see how that goes down with the community.
Yeah,
that's gonna be
so a Man would be a Man would be a similar situation for sure. Last time he at least had the skulls on his little stick and stuff, but I don't know. So all right. For the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith, another character new to the bracket this year. Sorry, just a second. Oh, geez, sorry, I got such a bad cough. Oh, wait, it's General Grievous. Number 55.
Dude, I was so close to removing you from the stream, John.
Oh man.
Gosh,
see, I didn't write that's just right off the top of my dome right here. This is his first time. Last year he was ranked 97, so I'm not really sure. I guess General prequel love, General, General.
Wow, he really shot up.
General Grievous.
Yeah.
Yes, we shot up quite a bit. No, he has not been rumored or anything. So
and
there we go.
To be clear to everybody, in case there's any question, by the way, 190 now in the stream. We keep going up. Wow. 192. Look at that. But just to be clear to anybody, in case there's any question, we're not talking about a repack.
No.
People want a new one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the new the retro card was pretty awesome. The old card, that's one of the few I have of TVC 1.0 carded, because I do like that card. The figure was good for the time. It's outdated and stuff, and yeah, we already have it. But
does the card back? Does he have the cape on and the card back? I'm trying to visualize that card back.
I believe so. Yes, this is a different image that I use.
Yeah.
Is the card back image on the invisible hand, like up in the
No, I don't know.
On the bridge or something? I'm trying to remember.
No, it was on. I don't know. But
I think
let's all Google. Let's all take a second and Google it right now.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
It's on the first version of great. It's just the figure itself does not stand well.
Right.
Yeah. It was an Utapau image in the first one, and I kept the green from the original release. But yeah.
I do have to wonder though, because of when his arms are split, it's like, oh no, would his arms be too thin now for Hasbro?
Maybe. I mean, there was a point where on the previous one, also some of the articulation makes him look not accurate or a little bit ugly, but it wasn't the worst thing in the world. But they could do, you could do swap out arms or something for double or quadruple arms or whatever.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I would love a Grievous that's able to pose like modern figures.
Fantastic.
People say next to Dooku with a
again, but I think it could end up being another one of those that goes in a big box.
Yeah,
on a big card, should I say?
Yeah, it was.
Don't know.
He was deluxe in Black Series a couple times that they released him. So
yeah,
I think the days of us getting like a Gamorrean guard or Grievous on standard size card back, but charging $1 or $2 more are sadly over. Seems
well. They were But okay, let's keep the prequel love going a little bit.
Let's do it.
Who was on last year? Someone who was number 60 last year, so rose up 6 points to 54. She had her heart broken, but it makes my heart seeing her on the bracket brings warm feelings to my heart. There we go. I got there eventually. It's Padme, of course.
Hey, yes.
And so there were a lot of submissions for Padme. These combine individual votes for Geonosis in general, Geonosis Droid Factory and Geonosis Arena. I know there would be differences with the torso and the arms and stuff, but in the spirit of that's I combine those and stuff. That's what we do. We do those for some of these things. There were other Padmes that did pretty well, didn't do enough to make the bracket other than her. Wait, what am I doing here?
I don't know where I put my Padme. I was trying to find her. I'm stuck her somewhere, I guess.
So the Geonosis one got 1,913 points on 143 lists. And then below that, her Theed gown from episode 1, the red gown, was the second best one. And then the Theed battle was the third best one. With fewer and fewer points. But
highest ranked unmade outfit. That's an interesting question.
It was a lake gown, which was the next one. So in order, it was Geonosis, then episode 1 Theed gown, episode 1 Theed battle, episode 2 lake gown, episode 3 Imperial Declaration, then episode 1 Tatooine Mustafar, Clone Wars Adventure, Loyalist gown, Meadow Picnic, Lilac Visitation, Wedding, Ilum, Coruscant Welcome, Senate, Packing gown, Fireplace, all these things. There was a lot. But so this would be a naming convention. Let me see what else we got. Wedding, Ilum, Coruscant Welcome, Senate, Packing gown, Fireplace, Zero's Palace, Dinner Dress, Purple Travel Gown, Ruminations, Lars Homestead Arrival, Battle of Coruscant from the Micro Series, Lars Garage, Pilot Disguise, Scipio Black Dress, Purple Puff Sleeved Dress, and the Celebration got only 2 points on one list. But we love her all the same. So it's been a while. The
Celebration, like from Phantom Menace at the end with the orb.
Yeah.
One, or wow.
Yeah. Which we got in 2004, but I just saw Kiwi Man's thing about all the redos. Yeah,
she changes her outfit with every line of dialogue. That's funny.
So I said before, like when we talked about our top 25 list, we used to get a new Padme pretty much every year for a while until kind of TVC 1.0 ended. We got this version in the Black Series along with the Anakin that they repacked a couple years ago. I don't think that version is good enough. It's good for TVC 1.0 quality. It's not really up to today's standards anymore. I'm not even going to say they could repack it because they might repack it, but they shouldn't.
No, don't even put that evil out there, dude.
As I looked over to Ara Singh and Dr. Evazan, I said, wait a minute, let's not go through that again.
No. I will say when it comes to this figure, a lot of people say that repacking the one from the 3.75-inch Black Series line would just be good enough, but that one can't ride the reek, which is a critical part of that scene. So at the very least, she needs a significant retooling. And if you're gonna just do that, then you might as well just put a new one out, in my opinion.
We got to recreate the scene where she jumps from 200 feet in the air and smashes right down in her crotch, and because Anakin doesn't even grunt or nothing. And yet, as Tana said, the last one at all was a 6-inch battle dress from last year, and then the last 3.75 one was the last new outfit was the black dress from Phantom Menace, which is repacked with photo reel a couple years ago. Shouldn't be
clear
repacked.
That people want a new one, clearly.
So yes, there are plenty of Padmes, and we can look at them in different ways. A lot of people wanted a lot of different ones, but
careful highlighting these comments here.
Yeah, I saw.
That's pretty funny though, Paul.
Yep.
Anyway,
well, let's ride this week onto the next one.
3, 4.
Who's next, John?
Let's see. I was doing a little. I'm writing my segues in real time. But the fifth repeat character this year, of course, naturally, is the fifth brother Inquisitor.
Hey, right.
At number 53, he was 30. He was below 100 the first 2 years, and then he was 34, and then 38 over the past 2 years. So he's down a little bit, but after his Obi-Wan Kenobi appearance, of course.
So he's been in 4 out of 5 brackets. Is that what you're saying?
No, this is his third.
All third one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All third, as you might say. There's a lot of numbers going on. He's the fifth guy. He's the fifth one on the stream. It's his second appearance because he was in 2 shows. Oh my god! But yes. Okay. So I'll move a little quicker on some other stuff. We have a Rebels version of him, of course. So we got the fifth brother.
Can we real quick? Can we highlight a comment real quick, because I want to address this from Conrad Pad. I don't understand why people hate the slightly larger cards so much. Can you highlight that one?
Yeah.
Okay, let me explain this one. The reason why is because we are nearly, 400 figures into the vintage collection in terms of mainline numbering, and they've always had standard dimensions. What was it, 6x9, right?
Yeah, except for 2 figures, which
Except
Except
for
for
two of
two,
them in the
the minifigures.
60s.
Right, but
So
what I'm getting at here is, people like Only One Kenobi and many other collectors put their carded figures on display up on their wall. And when you have that consistency of dimension, it looks nice and it displays well. And then you all of a sudden 300 and 70 figures into the vintage collection or whatever it is, suddenly you have this big wonky card that's oversized and doesn't match all the rest of the figures that have been previously released, again, except for those mini cards, right? And it throws everything out of whack. That's why people don't like it. So
if anybody
I'm
has
fine
all,
with deluxe releases, but they shouldn't be numbered as part of the main line. That's where I take issue with it, because you're gonna have
I just
them in
want to
this
know who has
lineup,
space
and
for all 350
I
cards
get
on
it.
one wall. That's what I
I
want to
get
know.
it. I mean,
This
they're
is
out
the
there,
biggest
though,
house.
but
I
They're
think
also
the other issue is the original 96. Obviously, people want to recreate those sometimes alongside other ones, and if they're thrown out, then you haven't got that recreation that people are trying to achieve.
Yeah. Toys Are the
Yeah.
Way gets me. This is my issue with them. They don't have a star case available.
yeah. If
Time
you're
for
going to
that
number them separately, like the deluxe releases should have their own numbering system. They should not be part of the standard lineup of figures, because the cards are not the same. They're not consistent. And like Tana said, that's gonna really upset a lot of original 96 people. I'm just waiting for it. It's gonna happen.
It's
But
going to be
anyway,
a fun day online.
yeah.
So anyway,
Well, speaking of numbering,
speaking of confusing numbering, this guy, maybe he didn't have a number until recently. Maybe now he's the first brother Inquisitor. But we don't know. Confusing numbering. What about confusing name?
oh boy.
Marok.
Yeah.
Merrick.
Hey.
Meraki. We call him
I'm
Rock.
so happy to
in my
see
house.
this guy.
Rock.
Vote for Maroc.
Last year he was 56, so he raised up four ranks.
Well, still pretty
And,
consistent though. Again.
Yeah, so he didn't win his thing last year, his round last year. But and people have been asking in the chat, Evan, are you keeping track of the lightsaber wielders?
No, I'm not.
Right.
Sorry, I'm trying to keep track of 4 different things right now, and it's not working.
Lightsaber. I thought lightsabers were like the most important thing to you. So let's start back at the beginning. There's Ezra Peridia, Keller and Beck, General Grievous, a fifth brother, Marek. That's 5 so far, I think.
Okay, love it.
Let's start from there.
Sorry, I was keeping track of our top 25s, and so far.
Listen, I just want to say I don't care who's inside of that suit, whether it's Star Killer or a fart cloud or a bunch of worms. I don't care. I want this figure real bad. Real bad.
Like a scratch and sniff edition with the real fart smell.
It's gonna smell like a what are those things called? Melurons?
Oh, Melurons.
I don't have any idea what those smell like. Hopefully not like farts, but
yeah.
Some people are saying this is another one desperately needed to finish Ahsoka scenes. He almost made my list, so I could have ranked a little higher. Yes. And then I love these HK87 guys, and I would love the one that he is with on Corellia where he fights Ahsoka. So if they wanted to do a 2-pack with a repaint of that guy to help fund the touring for Marek, whatever you want to call him.
Make sure he's got his little cape too, or his cloak, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they gave him the retro figure has the cape. So
yes, yeah.
Does the Black Series one has the cape, right?
I don't even know. I haven't opened so many of my recent Black Series, so that should make you happy.
That actually, I'm glad you brought that up. That is actually is a harder to find Black Series. It's one of the few Black Series figures that's actually kind of hard to track down.
You think it was
he does have his cape, yes.
Not underproduced, but a low production run, maybe.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and yes, he does have a cape. So yeah, weirdly, the fifth brother and Marek have retro collection figures, but yeah. So all right, ready?
Interesting.
All right, like a fart in the wind. Let's blast on.
Let's move on. One. So real quick, how many lightsaber wielders is that so far? That's 5.
You said 5, yeah.
Let's make it 6 with Kylo Ren, Supreme Leader.
Ooh,
the Rise of Skywalker.
There he is. And this is
Number
his
51.
5th year. Yeah.
His 5th year, all 5. This is our first 5-timer.
Yes.
This year. So
5 times.
He was
on my list.
ranked 26th the first year. Then he's been in the 50s or 40s since then. 55, 45, 54, 51. So it's there. I always say I'm always shocked by the remarkable consistency. Maybe it's just the exact same people submitting their lists every time. But I mean, we get more every time, so I don't know how that'd be possible. But yeah, he again, another person who's been on every year has never won a round of voting. So if you want him, let's show some support.
Interesting.
You got to
Wow.
actually vote for him.
He's
Yeah,
never
a lot of
won
these-
a round in any. Wow.
Neither
His
have they.
Good Boy
None of
version
the repeat
did.
ones so far. Yeah,
Wow.
well, we're not there yet.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
spoiler
you just
alert,
gave us a little spoiler.
Spoiler
Tricked you.
alert. He's been on every year. So yes, Kylo Ren, and for this one, yes, I did combine because his Last Jedi and his Rise of Skywalker appearances, they're the same from below the waist. The cape is different. Obviously, the helmet's different, but that's another one where I combined those votes. I don't think it would have made that much difference actually.
Yeah.
But I did combine them. Yeah, so another one, plenty of repaint opportunities, retool opportunities. Perhaps there's
This is
more in the future that I already spoiled, but there you go.
We've also mentioned too that TVC is the only line whatsoever, like 3 3/4 inch is
Yep.
the only line out of almost every single figure line you could think of at this point that does not have this main villain.
Yep.
Every single one.
Hot
Mission
Toys
Fleet
made 'em.
has it. Yeah, Hot Toys, Mission Fleet, Funko Pop. What's the 4-inch or 5-inch one? The
Galaxy of
of
Adventures.
Heroes. Yeah, Galaxy of Adventures. Every line, 12-inch, 9-inch, every scale,
Yep.
every scale.
Scales that were
imaginable.
new and then discontinued in the time since Rise of Skywalker came out have come and gone and gotten Kylo Ren accepted in this collection. And yes, his episode 7 version was repacked in the very first wave, but it's not quite up to modern standards, and it's not his red cracked helmet, his Kintsugi helmet from episode 9.
And the texturing, if I may jump into that, the texturing on the
Yes.
on his episode 7 costume is different than the texturing on his 8 and 9 costumes.
Yeah, he looks very
So,
different in 8
yeah.
and 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then while we're on the subject, I wanted to point out that Albrecht, the little monkey dude that repairs his helmet, is ranked around 1300. He got 3 point, well, 3 points on one list. So
The monkey Sith blacksmith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that little dude.
Next year.
Everybody go see The Monkey now in theaters.
Tell me it's not an Albrecht spinoff, but it should have been. Okay, so let me get back to I got so many tabs open here. All right. Speaking of weird ways that we count things due to their points, but number 50, a character who has been on before, but a version that is making her bracket debut is Mon Mothma from Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
Cool.
So
Nice.
how that happened this year, you can yell at me, you can argue with me, you can get sad about it. First of all, we got over 200 viewers, so I hope that you all pay attention to this.
Wow,
and thank you for all-
202. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for liking the video that you're going to do right now.
Yeah. Subscribe so that you can yell at John in the future too.
But she barely did not make the bracket last year, and when I separated them between her Return of the Jedi and her Andor versions, and then I even added the Rogue One versions to her Return of the Jedi because it's the same costume, even though it's a different actress. Like the figure would look the same. You can do a version with a different head sculpt or whatever. But you can disagree with me on that, whatever. The last time the Andor one for the past 2 years got more specific votes than the Return of the Jedi version, but and then there was a lot of unspecified. Where I look at for those things, I look at your lists, and so if it's like Uncle Owen and it's all A New Hope characters, okay, I know you want the A New Hope Uncle Owen. If it's if you say Joel Edgerton Uncle Owen or whatever, then I know, and if I don't know, then I just assign it to whichever version has the most points. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So, and yes, as Tana said, she was nearly on the bracket last year, and I will say Coruscant Mon Mothma made it to number 66 this year without getting those extra generic points. So she is still wanted. She's near the bracket. I'm sure once we see Andor in a couple months, we'll all say, gee, I wish we had that figure. But for now, Return of the Jedi, Mon Mothma, not made as a realistic figure since 1998, was recently made as a retro figure a couple years ago. Yes, and many boffins died to get her on this list. Thank you for the perfect segue minutes after I started talking about her. So speaking of a figure with multiple versions and a particularly controversial version, you better not forget his birthday. It's Ki-Adi-Mundi, number 49. So,
his iconic birthday.
His iconic birthday that we all had committed to memory. This is his third time on the bracket after the past 2 years. He was 62, then 43. Now he's 49. So it's he was 92 and 22. So going with the Galactic Marine we had on here earlier, the Black Series got him this past year with all the between episode 1's 25th anniversary and Revenge of the Sith's 20th anniversary. I think there's, more push to get him in the line. He again did not win any of his rounds last year, so keep looking for that. Let me see something.
That would be.
I was going to say Kelleran of the repeat people real quick. I saw Kelleran Beck made it to the Sweet 16 last year, but I think the other repeat guys so far did not win their things. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but yeah, what are you going to say, Evan?
I was just going to say Ki-Adi-Mundi 2 would be a fun one. That they could do, a repack with like a light repaint or a different accessory and give them like the purple lightsaber if they wanted to do a publishing figure, because he had a purple lightsaber back in the day before George's Jedi have blue and green, bad guys have red decree. So yeah.
Look at that beautiful purple name pill. It's a little nod for the true heads here, the real fans.
Love that.
True fans. You'd like if Hasbro brought you that figure, Evan, if they could bring you Ki-Adi-Mundi. Is there anything else they should bring you here, perhaps?
Ooh, I think they should bring me
Ben Solo, number 48,
yes.
from Exegol.
Yes.
And you can say, yes, should I have combined him with Kylo Ren? I don't know, whatever. They both got enough points to make the bracket, so that's why I think it's worth separating them.
Love that.
He's been on another 5-timer, and he got to the top 32 in 2022. But he was 31, then 45, then 46, then 46, now 48. So maybe going down a little bit, but they're still very consistent the last few years. So Sweater Boy Ben, Evan, you think you're the only person in the world that wants him, but we love our good boy.
I've been assured multiple times. See, I don't think I'm the only one that want him, but people seem to love to tell me that I'm the only person that wants him. This can't be true.
It is.
I didn't submit.
Statistically
more than
not true.
So.
No, you got 2,057
Lies. You have 80
points.
burner emails, Evan.
You caught me.
He's on 148 lists, so over 10% of the submissions had him on it. And some of them, some of the lists, some of the characters are on more lists, but they were lower ranked. But we want Ben Solo.
Yes.
Perhaps some other.
Imagine going to Gap and you're ringing up your pair of jeans, and he's like hanging on a rack next to the counter. Can you imagine?
Yeah, maybe I'd update my wardrobe for the first time in 20 years if they sold toys at clothes stores. But...
Oh God, so funny.
That'd be amazing. So that was one for the Ben boys.
Yep.
Let's do one for the Jackie Jam. Number 47, Jackie Long from the Acolytes.
Yeah.
I don't know why this picture's so pixelated. But brand new character this year, of course. First time on the brackets. Ranked 47. Already in retro for whatever reason. Already in Black Series. But so maybe it'd be easier to get her in vintage with a, using that digital sculpt. And she could lead 2 other, correct me if I'm wrong, other than the belt, probably she could lead 2 other female Jedi from across the saga.
Yes, because outside of Sol and I think Yord are the only 2 that have that piping. All of the other ones that we see in that scene and whatever don't have that piping, so that would be just a generic prequel style female Jedi torso.
Yep, and I saw some points for various like Jedi Leia, and I know we've had Jedi Leia before, but I think the height and everything could work for a Jedi Leia from Jackie Long.
This would absolutely get us on track for a Jedi Leia. And also like a Baltar Swan or a Stassa Lee.
Definitely. And so, we were talking about, they had great figural representation of Ahsoka. They've done okay for Acolyte by comparison to like Skeleton Crew or Bad Batch. But they've done a good job getting the core crew, except Jackie Lan is kind of the remaining core hero for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, she was on my list. I'm happy to see that.
Yeah.
She's on mine.
Nice. So that was a new character. How about an older character who made the bracket last year? Number 46 was last year's 64, the Indoor Rebel Commando.
Nice.
Nice.
That's good progress.
Yeah, right. And he was kind of in the hundreds the first couple of years, but a big one that was missing from the Return of the Jedi 40th celebrations a couple of years ago. We got the indoor bunker, as you've seen behind him in this image. Let me see. People are asking about Kelnaka. I will say Kelnaka did not make the bracket, but he made it to 76. So he got close.
That's pretty close.
Good. And that would be another one where it's like, for him, they could leverage the new Chewie legs from the upcoming A New Hope one. Or
Speaking of Chewie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Chewie with us.
Wow.
Say hi.
Boy.
Special guest. What's up? That's a good boy right there.
This is Chewie, everybody.
Welcome back, Chewie.
Hello.
What a good boy.
Hey, John, real quick,
Well,
will you do me a favor?
yes.
What was number? I didn't write it down. What was number
Good
52?
boy.
Sorry, I was getting some crazy feedback on there. What did you say?
Sorry, who was number 52?
Sorry.
Number 52 was Merrick.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Are you writing all these down? I have it written down. I can just text.
Yeah, I just am doing because you didn't put together the bracket. Because that could
excuse me.
No. Sorry, that came off hot. Someone slacked and did tons of work for a month, but then they didn't do one little thing. No, so I just actually printed off a crappy blank bracket just so I could kind of get an idea of where things would maybe fall. Of course, this is why you didn't put that together was the upcoming stream. Say something's revealed that changes everything. I just personally get a feel of kind of where everything was sort of at.
I meticulously place all the little name pills. I made several of the new name pills. I made all the new name pills today, and it was quite the experience, quite the stress-inducing experience an hour before the stream. So yeah, the idea of meticulously removing all of the name pills on the bracket if one person was revealed did not seem very appealing to me at the moment. So it will be happening in a week. But yeah, so thank you for doing this because I'm interested to see where some of these matchups will look currently.
After we finish, if there's any particular characters we want to see who they're hypothetically facing off against as it stands right now, that's just kind of why I wanted to put that together.
Yes.
So,
but
save you a little bit.
Thank you for doing that. You know what? In my opinion, we could make good use of you on the Master Sail Bodge, as EV99 might say, number 45 here.
Heck yeah.
Real quick before we talk about this one, I just want to say about the Commando. Emily always creates a secret list that she does not share with the community. But I know from years past, I think it was last year, she was in the comment section and she was like, this one's on my list. She shared like that one character. So it's on Hasbro's radar, this one. And I do hope that they knock it out eventually. How many would I buy? I'd buy probably a whole platoon of them.
Yes.
30-ish. I'd buy a lot of them. So,
and I've said before, but I did a deep dive on the anniversary post a couple years ago about the different outfits and stuff. There's no such thing as a jumpsuit, and there's no such thing as a gray Snowtrooper pauldron. But that'll be the next. That'll be the next YouTube deep dive. Is the different costume elements that they kind of combine, the jackets and the hoodies and all these things. So yeah. So anyway, okay, back to EV99. I'm seeing all the elbows. Everybody loves their elbows. My God, everybody loves elbows. A couple of years ago, it was all about rocker ankles. Now it's all about hips, and now it's all about elbows. So what body part would be obsessed with next? But yeah, so previously made in the Kinderline, another finished in the 96er, another one that was done in Power of the Force, but not since then. Not in Black Series, but this is his or her, I believe, fifth bracket appearance. Another 5-timer was ranked 62, then 43, then 48, then 51, and now 45. So consistently around this bottom part of the bracket. And has it ever won a round? It won one round in 2023. So there you go. Against another against I knew everybody's going to have these great questions. And do I always have the thing?
Don't answer.
I don't know who they beat. I know who they lost to in 2023. Okay, anyway. So another original trilogy character making their third bracket appearance, was not on the first 2 years, would look great in the Cantina, would look even better in the Streets of Mos Eisley play set. Be quiet. I think there's a spy afoot. It's Garindan.
Long snoot.
Tim will be very happy about this one.
Will.
Yes, his number one.
Very happy,
I
and he's in the 40s. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so he was 56 and then 48, so he's raising up a little bit to 44, perhaps due to the Cantina hype this year. Yeah, it would be awesome. And they've shown he's been done a couple times before. They in the Power of the Force and in the Saga collection. For some reason, the photography lately has had the Power of the Force version. I think that's just whatever the photographer or diorama maker have had on hand. 2006 one is okay, but the card would be awesome. That image right there, which I just recently did for my return to Tatooine cards. Yeah,
he's okay. So they're Kubaz, right? That's the name of his species.
Kubaz, yeah.
Okay.
A couple votes for the Kubaz ferryman, a couple votes for various Kubaz over the years.
Do we know what they look like under all the stuff?
Under their that's a private question.
under the plague doctor look.
What they got going on under that?
Yeah, because
that business look like.
I'm confused because it looks like that thing. I think people think that's like a physical part of his face, but if you zoom in on the costume, you can see like stitch marks.
Yeah.
And I'm not really sure what that's supposed to be. I think I just crapped out for a minute. Excuse my internet. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, I don't know what it's supposed to be. I think lately it's part of his physiology, but I don't know. That'll be the third local foyer, as played by the dad from Back to the Future. He hides in the trees and he just creeps on the girls.
Is he actually visible in the cantina as well? Do we see him inside?
I'm not sure. I feel like I don't think so. I know we see like Wyoslia, the land speeder salesman, who's also in the saleswoman, who's also in the Tatooine Backstreet sets. But if he is, he's like off to the right side in the shadow. Somebody in the chat will know. Tanith says no, and I trust Tanith with my life, so I'm going to say no.
He's cantina adjacent.
Yeah,
outside of the cantina. Yeah.
Put him outside. So he'll go in the.
Yeah.
It's like we've talked about wanting the Ubrikian speeder. That's not inside the cantina either. So
yes, it's a return. It would be great for the return to Tatooine. Maybe he's coming. I don't know, but he's on the list. He's on the bracket. So, and did he win his thing last year? No, he did not. This is his third year. So we saw him kind of moving slowly through the back streets of Mos Eisley. Some walking. We didn't really see him running, but did we see him dashing? It's Dash Rendar. Wow.
Ooh.
43.
That's a fun one.
I'm trying to find the segues here. So this is his second bracket appearance. From last year, he was 53. Now he's 43. That's 10.
Wow, he's rising
ahead.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting.
So yeah, he's also pipeline for Black Series, I believe, right?
Yeah.
But that's another one where they could, if they really wanted to, make us all happy.
It's the first 3 point Dash keeps making it in, but Kyle hasn't. Kyle Katarn hasn't made it in. I mean, maybe he made it in this year. I don't know. We'll see. But
we'll see. It could be because the version we have is slightly better. But it's brilliant figure, but it's certainly better than the Dash Render.
I will say Kyle Katarn was ranked 87. Or no, he was 88, 89.
88.
Okay, so here's the deal. On last year's list, I had 3 dud entries at the top. This year I only have 1 with like the submitter character, media source points, total points. So I need to subtract 1. So excuse me for some of the numbers being slightly off. He is number 89 this year, is Kyle Katarn. But yes, we haven't had a Dash Rendar since 1996 in this scale. Mm-hmm. Lorena, I'm sorry. We'll get into Satine in a little bit. I'll rip the Band-Aid off now. Satine didn't make it, but if we combined all of her various looks, which is maybe putting our finger on the scales a little bit, she would have been 111.
Okay, so she was within the top 100 radius
ish.
Yeah,
within the top 100 radius is a nice way of
top 100 adjacent.
Yes. Yeah. So sorry, but you did great. So she did all right. But she's one of the last people on the list. It's always next year. Yeah.
Yeah. Keep campaigning. That's the key. Just keep campaigning for those ones that you want.
Because you never know what'll happen. Sometimes characters have been around for a while, perhaps a little over a decade. Never been on another release, perhaps makes them a little more relevant again. Perhaps somebody who was listed at number 77 last year could be number 42 this year. Agent Callus.
Cool.
Oh, cool. And specifically his Imperial version. I did not count his Rebel appearance in this. I counted it, but I didn't include it in this. So he would be at least. We discussed this last night. I said I got to talk about the reuse tooling on this. I think it would be mostly new on this, as far as I know. So I'm gonna say he's fine to be on the bracket. People want him; they put him on their lists. So good enough. This is another one that will continue building out the Rebels mini beat around the Ghost and everything.
Love that.
Along with the so good Rebel stuff. Where did Marfalump rank?
Who the heck is Marfalump? Wow, I'm a fake fan.
Yeah, you are a
super,
fake fan.
super fake.
Yeah.
Look at Lewis's backdrop, and now picture that on a Mountain Dew can. Oh no, don't fall.
This is the equivalent of Dingus, whatever the heck John said earlier. I'm like, is that real? Is that fake? I have no
Bingo
idea.
Gumble Sarp. Yeah, he's the guy from the Pepsi commercials back from 1999. But he got 1 point on one list, and honestly, I had to think about putting him in mine next year because he's right up my alley. But Marfalump is safely away from the bracket, and I probably always will do so.
Safely away from.
Who is Marfa? I gotta look this character up now.
He had 4 arms, so he could be like a Nabrin Leeds, like Punk or General Grievous kind of guy.
Yeah.
But
Marfalump. Oh my gosh, look at this character.
The excitable marketing mascot for the Phantom.
He looks like what's that ant movie?
Ants.
Is it just called Ants? Yeah. He looks like a character from Ants.
Hot Callus is on my list.
Yeah, so this is
that's redeemed Callus, right? Like a nice Callus.
Oh
He's hot
my
Callus.
gosh, that's
we found the one Marfalump vote. So thank you, Swamps.
Hey.
Heck yeah, man!
God.
Someone buy this man a Pepsi.
So this isn't quite the hot Callus, but it's the evil Callus. So, okay, let's go to a second timer who appeared on the bracket last year, was hovering around it for a couple of years, but Bosk, number 41.
Ooh.
The Empire Strikes Back. The first, it would be the first new Bosk since 2007. There's been a couple of him overall. There was also a 2004 one and a 1997 one, and the Black Series one, of course. But this is for an all-new one, another finished 96 character. He got to the top 32.
Again be happy about this.
Yes, and he got to the top 32 in his appearance last year. So will he get his bounty? Will Bosk get his bounty this year of winning it all? Who knows? But I don't know.
So there seems to be quite a lot of Empire Strikes Back figures pushing through a bit now, isn't there? I think perhaps because A New Hope's been getting some love, and we've seen some better stuff for Jedi over the last couple of years, that perhaps people are now looking for Empire when they're putting their OT lists together.
I think Jedi is maybe the most well-covered media property in entirety for 3 3/4 inch overall, and including vintage collection.
Probably agree, and I think I will hold those thoughts until we discuss with the media sources here in a bit. But that is interesting to take note of as we continue on. So, shall we continue on? Speaking of Return of the Jedi, Bosk is also in Return of the Jedi, so you can put him on your sail barge. Mine is on my sail barge, actually. But who's not on my sail barge is my man Fozek. Number 40. He is back. Fozek in the 40s. Sometimes it's a head scratcher. That's okay. This is his 4th time he was not on the first year. He's been on every year since then. He's actually risen every year. He was 62, then 55, then 47, then 40. I did not condense him with unidentified shirtless male or unidentified maleless shirt from Middle-aged Kiwi Man's List.
Those
it
are
would be the same. It's the same costume.
Those are all just so iconic. When you think of Star Wars, do you think it's not lightsabers, it's not starships, it's not blasters, it's this guy? This is what you think.
Unidentified extras in the background. But he does interact with a lot of the main heroes. He's up front and center. We've gotten some humans from Jabba's Palace over the last few years. People want to, as I said last year, some people got a little upset. I think at least from the bracket submissions, people seem to still want a lot from Jabba's Palace, or at least key characters from Jabba's Palace and sail barge and skiffs. But now shifting focus to the cantina, it's like, okay, well, that's great, but I think we want to close the chapter on, or continue fleshing out the book of Boba Fett and Jabba's Palace playset, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But
it's that world building that they talk about, being able to populate the worlds that we're building.
Yes, and not one or the other, but I'm just saying in terms of original trilogy Tatooine figures, if we're going to use our points for that, I think a lot of people would prefer Return of the Jedi still, but whatever floats your skiff. All right, next up, one character who has kind of been on the bracket before, who perhaps has already been on the bracket today in a different version. But number 39, Ezra Bridger in his season 1/2 appearance.
This makes sense.
I'm calling him Ezra Lothal. He is
second Ezra on the bracket.
Yep.
He was ranked last year. He was ranked 276, but he did very well the first. Ezra in general did very well the first 3 years. I grouped him between the first early seasons and the later seasons look. That was just to show support for Ezra in general. Obviously, we have the beautiful versions from the HasLab and the main line of his season 4/Ahsoka hologram look, and people want his the Peridia look from Ahsoka as well. But yeah, so we got two Ezras. Huh? So like I said, he was really ranked high, and then they made one and he shot down, and then now that the Ghost is out and everybody's looking to complete their season 1 cruise with the Kanan and Zeb that we already have. There were some various votes for Hera and Sabine, but those would obviously be retools based on what we have. Please read the 87 million diatribes I've written about this topic before. So this would be great for the Ghost. And
that makes sense. It's similar to Fozek and any of the Cantina stuff where it's okay.
Yeah,
we need this to go with the big purchase.
Absolutely, yes.
And then I'm glad that he rose back up this year, because I think folks then kind of realized like he's not a sure thing, because we, as you said, we got the Ezra last year, but it was his later seasons look / Ahsoka hologram version. Yeah,
and I'll say
it's a good reminder to Hasbro, hey, you can't put it all in the rear view yet. We've got a pretty major guy here that you need to.
There's always a lot of things to keep up with. So the first year, Ezra in general was ranked 17, and then 2022 he was ranked 19, and then he was ranked 21, and then that's why he shot way down after he was announced for the HasLab. But now that we don't have a season 1 look, he's back.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if we'd get the opportunity to see Ezra up against Ezra on the bracket.
That would be funny.
Quite interesting.
That would be very funny.
At the moment, that is how it stands right now. They would have to win all of theirs to get into the final 4 to face off against each other, based on where they're at in the bracket.
Very interesting. Yeah. Wow.
And Hubnab says, we can have Kylo versus Ben. We can have Ezra versus Ezra. Sadly, we can't have Mothma versus Mothma unless a couple people, a couple characters get made on that stream on Wednesday, and she comes up to the bracket.
Currently, as it stands, Kylo and Ben Solo would only be able to face off if they were the finalists at the moment.
Hey, could happen.
Yeah.
So I was going to say Stranger Things could have happened, but speaking of Stranger Things type show, let's go back to Skeleton Crew real quick with Pirate Captain Brutus, number 38.
Ooh, cool. That's a good poll.
Speaking of, not to tip my hand, but perhaps there's another Wolfman type character on the bracket in a little bit, but we could have Wolfman versus Wolfman. We don't know, but
this one doesn't surprise me.
No,
it's pretty popular character.
Yeah,
he's in the Black
Even
series.
Though, spoiler alert, he got schwacked. But,
right in the face.
But we don't want figures of characters that are dead, and we don't want ships that have been blown up. We don't have any of those in our collection.
Darth Vader and the Death Star, please. But and the sail barge and everything else, and Yoda and everybody. But so he's coming. He's already in Black Series. He's coming to Epic World of Action Adventure Celebration 4-inch figures.
In the 5 POA, not with the updated.
It's because he was probably planned back when the show was planned, which means when the other figures were planned when the show was coming out a year ago. I don't know. Anyway, we need more than Jod from Skeleton Crew. Yeah. So Brutus would go with him. They could recreate his brutal death. So how about another Return of the Jedi character for Jabba's Palace? You know where you love her? It's from her sheet, Shasatiel, the sheet of Shasatiel.
Shasatiel.
But this is her 4th bracket appearance. She was not on in 2021, but she was ranked 40, then 58, then 39, now 37. So this is her best performance yet, but it's not that different from last year. So the Ishi Tib, who was so iconic, they had to airbrush her off of Luke's card in the Kinder days, but added her, even though her body just kind of appears as you go down. So some of these Return of the Jedi, they've been on some people's lists for decades on forums and things, and She's another character who has yet to win one of her voting rounds the past few years. Same with Fozek, same with a lot of these guys we've talked about already. But this could be a year. I don't know. Speaking of, so we got a kind of a starfish lady, you might say. How about a frog lady, number 36?
That was a reach, dude.
You know what? I didn't write these out ahead of time. So this is her fourth bracket
Oh my
appearance. Also,
gosh.
so she was 51. Then she leaped up. I had to use that every year.
Dude.
37, then to 33. So she's 36. So she's right in between her last two appearances this time. She still doesn't have a name, but she has a species now, which, as we discussed last time, is Kerm Ribbit, which is hilarious. Yeah, there were a couple votes for Frogman and the Frog couple in general, but this is just a Frog lady. Again, another character. People say, why do we need her? But she's needed to fill out the Razor Crest scenes, Mandalorian scenes. Now she can also fill out the Cantina as well, because she was in that as well.
We got the spiders. We got Icy Mando. What are the spiders called again?
They're Kryknas in Rebels, but they're Maldo Creek's ice spiders in Mando, because God forbid we say they're the same thing.
Yeah.
Really hoping Frog Lady is in the Mando movie as like a main character. I hope she's on the poster.
All right, so from maybe it's Kerm Ribbit, maybe it's Quirm Ribbit, maybe it's Quirm Ribbit, maybe it's Qui-Gon Jinn.
Dude. All right, folks, wrap it up. We're losing viewers. We're at 154.
Number 35. We're almost halfway there. It's only going to get worse from here. So this is his second appearance on the bracket after last year. He didn't even rank in the top 100 the first 3 years, but now with the Phantom Menace love, prequel love in general coming up, Qui-Gon is back. I did not combine with his Padawan look. I think that'd be a different body probably, but who knows. But anyway, he's on the bracket. Vote for him if you want him. There you go. One thing I did have to combine a lot. Here's not a segue. Here's a segue that makes sense. It's not a joke. Combine the different versions of the Clone Commando at number 34, who rose up quite a bit from 52 last year. This is
As
one
a reminder.
where...
Oh, go ahead, Josh.
Yeah. No, you go first.
I was going to say the reason why he's on here is because people do not want Hasbro to use Hunter's body for this figure. They want an all-new sculpt just for the Commando, which they can repaint till the cows come home in all sorts of different configurations. It's a high mileage sculpt. So
yeah.
Yes, and then I saw Tamith ask about some of the other Episode 1 characters like Obi-Wan, who was ranked at 102. And I'll give a little spoiler and say Darth Maul from Episode 1 is ranked at 100, and that was the highest ranked Darth Maul version this year, actually, which is
interesting.
New for this year, I believe.
Huh.
So anyway, yeah. So what I did with the Clone Commando, I didn't, if a lot of people voted, I explained this ahead of time, but I said if you voted for one Clone Commando, I used the highest ranked points as that. So if you voted individually for all 4 members of Omega Squad, I picked the highest one. I got rid of the other 3 entries, and I combined those all into Clone Commando because it's the same sculpt, whatever. So that's what I did last year. So if you don't like it, you can.
I think it's important to note to people, like, when you list several different Republic Commandos on your list, like Boss and Sev and blah blah blah, it's like, dude, just put Republic Commando. Save yourself all those points. They're just repaints. You don't need to list the same character in different paint jobs, 5 or 6 different times. You're just wasting the space on your list. So,
again, the list that was all Darth Vaders from top to bottom.
I didn't put those in there. But okay, so all right, next up. I made this joke last year. I'm gonna make it again. We would like to see the Clone Commando. We would also like to see the client. Number 33. Last year he was this is his 4th. He didn't make it the first year, but he was ranked 15th, and then 18th, then 26th, then 33th. So he's slipping from our collective memories a little bit.
Was he around the first year? Was he actually?
Yes, but he was ranked 67, so he just didn't make it in the bracket. And we got about like a 10th of the submissions the first year that we get now.
Yeah.
But so that one is a little
That's
bit not
crazy.
quite his.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was
And perhaps some
not quite
people
his.
assumed that
Yeah.
perhaps we might get him, so
Yeah.
he didn't go on a lot of people's lists. But yeah,
I think he was announced for Black Series, I think, after the first bracket. But yeah, so maybe people hadn't seen that figure yet or whatever. But
I'm happy to see him
yeah,
still.
he debuted in 2019, as Tana said, so he's been around the whole time. But he
I'm happy to see him still on the bracket. I didn't put him
Yeah.
on my list this year because I was confident that he would make the bracket. But if it sounds like he's starting to slip, I'm gonna refocus and start putting him back on my list. So
I bet that he started to slip a little bit because some folks were mad that Werner Herzog's a big fan of Honey Boo Boo. Sorry, that's a deep cut for Conan O'Brien listeners.
definitely don't understand what that means. You can't bitch about my segues anymore.
It wasn't a segue.
It was, but I'm looking. So he got in the top 32 the past 2 years. And I think that, yeah, I don't know. I think seeing piles of him at Ollies and stuff in Black Series maybe turned some people off. I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know,
that shouldn't have anything to do with our scale. We're the ones who have the Navarro Cantina. We're the ones who have the E-Wing.
Yeah.
You know, we've got all, or the E-Web, excuse me.
Yeah.
Well, you have an E-Wing too, but anyway. You know, we need this guy. We need him to complete that scene.
It's that, you know, don't make us pay for the sins of the Black Series sort of thing.
Right. He was. I totally agree with Tanith. They released him in the wrong scale.
100%.
We got to bring back wrong scale Wednesdays and have these discussions on SWTVC Instagram. But
yeah.
So I hope you're still updating your lightsaber list.
Yeah.
This year's one who was ranked. He was 31 last year. He's 32 this year, so pretty consistent. It's Darth Malik.
Nice.
Hey, yes.
Another Legends guy for you here. Who
Yes.
is that game? Is that a redo of the game ever coming out again? I have no idea.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, Black Series got his second his revised appearance. 30th anniversary, got his original appearance back in 2007. We got a lovely new Revan a couple years ago. I'm pointing, he's somewhere over here.
We need
a couple
this
years
guy.
ago, so
we need him. They Revan and Malik go together like peanut butter and jelly, man, or you know, peanut butter and fluff if you're a New Englander. Okay, like you need this guy. He's just a must. He's a must.
So is he more of a must than the client though? Because right now, since they're 32 and 33, they face off against each other.
Oh, what a heartbreaking lineup. Oh,
now they were
I don't even know how
keeping track.
I don't know how I'm gonna vote. That's such a tough one, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a battle I'd like to see.
Yeah. I'll be curious to see who moves forward on that one.
Let me, while we're at the middle of the bracket, let me go get some more water real quick. I'll wet my whistle. I'll think about what I've done for the segues. Have any comments? Have any general thoughts? There you go.
Okay. We're halfway through. It's awesome. I see Ovi Band was thinking just as I was where they were going to be facing off. But yeah, what do you guys think so far of this bracket?
It's been a really good mix, really good mix of stuff. I mean, we've got EU stuff, we've got OT stuff, we've got sequel stuff. You know, we've got everything in between. It's just a really good mix. Yeah.
Have you guys been keeping track of your top 25 as we go?
I kind of lost count. I think I got to about 6, I think.
Okay.
Let's have a quick look. Our client might have taken it to 7.
I'm sad Finn has fallen off the bracket. Yeah, we'll have to ask John where Rise of Skywalker Finn landed this year.
Yeah, he was always hanging in there in that high 60s.
Yeah, but the TFA release, I think, bumped him out because people were like, we have a Finn in TVC now, so
but it's not right. But
I know, I get it. But I think that's what happened. I think we can see statistically that's what happened, you know.
Yeah. Oh,
I think just especially as it's more recent and you know, all of a sudden people, it's not like we've got him, but people kind of just drops out of their mind a bit, doesn't he? So but I'm up to 9, I think, if I've counted that correctly. So 9's not bad going, I don't think.
Tyler, I think you're at I think you're at 6 or 7. I lost track because I was counting your guys's, completely lost it. I'm at 6 on my own, which is a pleasant surprise. Usually I do worse, I feel like.
Well, they
Saber
could be in
wielders.
the top 10, Evan.
What?
They could all be in the top 10.
You know what?
You never
Honestly,
know.
I think there's a good chance 2 of mine are going to be coming up soon. So,
So we'll have to ask John about Newt Gunray as well, because I know
yes,
Gallagher's
For Gallagher.
Racks campaigns real hard for that guy, the Nemoidians.
Welcome back to me. Yeah, I heard
Kiwi
about
Man. Yeah, so John, all right, so we got
Finn and
2 to
Newt
ask
Gunray,
you
yeah.
about.
Yep.
Newt Gunray and also Rise of Skywalker Finn.
Yeah, I gotta.
How did those 2 do?
If I can spoil it a little bit, I'm sorry they didn't make it this year. Finn got to. No, he's number 77 this year.
So he's still
So he
hanging
was-
in close.
He's hanging in there.
He
He was the first 3 years. He was 44, then 63, then 64, just barely clinging on. Then he was 65, so he just barely missed it last year. Now he's 77, so he's
definitely
around the
dropping.
top 100 still. And then Newt Gunray, sorry, last year he was 63. This year he's 74, so close, but didn't quite make it. And again, that was one where I combined the generic with episode 3, and if I even combined all of them, saying look, he's probably the same under the robes or whatever, he still would not have made the bracket. I'm sorry to say. So. They're saying, is Malik the only Knights of the Old Republic character? You got to stay tuned for that. I'm not going to tell you everything. We got to keep those viewer numbers nice and high, okay? You don't want to take a water break.
Stay
Just
tuned.
Where we're at on the stuff we're also keeping track of. We're at, I believe, 12 lightsaber
Yes.
wielders. So
Nice.
good. John, I have not been tallying all of your guys' top 25s. I was only focusing on my own, but we can run down that at the end after we have it all.
Yeah, I have no idea on that right now. So.
Yeah.
I don't even know where I am physically right now. So I've been
This is an out-of-body experience for John.
looking at spreadsheets every night until 1 a.m. this week has been a real thrill for me. So that's excuse me if I'm not on my game right now. Okay, so we're halfway there. Living on a prayer, whatever you want to say. That's not a segue, but okay, here's a segue. This guy looks so good in his cape and his crimson. Wouldn't somebody look even better in a crimson cape? How about Kira?
Yes.
Leader of
All right, that was an acceptable segue. All right,
thank you. This is actually her highest performance ever. She was ranked 70 in the first year, so she was not on. This is her 4th bracket appearance. She was 42, then 57, then 41, now 31. So up.
Yeah,
I know Victoria will be very happy about it.
I feel like I saw a lot of people pushing her this year, actually, and
yeah,
she's on my list as well. But I think that's why I noticed her more. But
I was going to say, Lewis, you nailed it.
Her as number 1. I can't remember. I think she's Victoria's number 1.
1 or 2, yeah, definitely up there.
She's been
very high.
She's passionate about it because she was apparently Kira was almost made at one point in Vintage, but was canceled. But she has a 5 POA figure, and now she's also been in Outlaws recently. Obviously, she's been in the comics the past couple of years. I didn't include all her various comic appearances, but I did fold in some of her different solo appearances because she wears it's jacket, pants versus skirt, all these things, different outfits. She puts pieces on and takes pieces off in solo. So one figure could lead to various other versions. So yeah.
Kira was Victoria's number 5.
Number 5. Okay. I think she's been her number 1 in the past. Maybe I'm imagining things, but I don't know.
But okay, number 30 this year was number 34 last year, making his 3rd appearance from. Oh wow, wait, does that make sense? Yeah, he was on in 2021. Did not make it in 22 or 3. Was on last year and this year. Say Kotoya to Plo Koon. Another prequel guy.
I thought that was Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian.
Yeah. That would be those people, I keep seeing those concepts. That would be so cool if they did Plo Koon on Luke's body. Yeah. As a little nod to that. That'd be so easy and so cool. I'm sure that's coming to Black Series is a San Diego Comic-Con convention exclusive this year, I'm sure. He made it to the Sweet 16 last year and lost to Palm Krill, last year's winner.
Wow, he did pretty well last year, huh?
He did all right last year, yeah. So they could do. Evan, I know you had your Jedi Power Battles concept.
I was going to say
as well.
That actually, I just ordered the remaster of that game for physical copy, PS5. I've got that coming. I think in July is when it ships, June or July. I put together that little 3-pack thing where it was Adi Gallia, Mace Windu with his blue lightsaber, and Plo Koon with his iconic orange-yellow lightsaber. That would be an easy one if they did make this figure, like I said with Kiadi Mundi earlier. that would just be a super easy, like, you know, repaint, redeco, repack sort of thing if they wanted to do a fun exclusive in like a fan channel wave for publishing or video games, like gaming greats. That'd be fun.
Yeah. And he has as you know, he has a unique tunic.
Yep.
His Clone Wars version, I did fold some of those in because he has no cloak in the Clone Wars version. He has a hood attached to it, and he has the greaves on his arms, the forearmor. But yeah, I figured one without the cloak could be reused for Clone Wars pretty easily if they did an all new version to begin with, and hopefully they would.
Yeah, so, in theory, if they had, you know, more definitive Jedi parts to use, I mean, they could perhaps use the Anakin the Revenge of the Sith Dark Side Anakin from the 3-pack. The arms from that and the thighs from that could maybe be reused if they wanted to get clever. But yeah,
they
obviously
the Black
not
Series one is. Yeah, they reused some random Jedi body for Black Series. Didn't really.
They reused, I believe, one of the Obi-Wan bodies for him.
Okay.
Or Mace Windu.
I think it was Mace because they reused Obi-Wan for Kit Fister.
Yeah, and they were both horribly inaccurate.
Yeah, so some of these people have different ideas on which Jedi should be on their list, I guess. But Plo Koon did well, and he has done well a couple times. But okay, let's go back to the original trilogy here. Another Empire Strikes Back figure. He was 36 last year. He was 63 2 years ago. This is his third bracket appearance at number 29. The AT-AT or AT-AT driver.
Cool.
Now coming to, what is it? Is it a Lego helmet or something? What is the thing that's like gray? Everyone's all confused about it. I can't remember, but some other collectible as a.
Was it the first week of that Power of the Force reveal? It was a Lego helmet.
You know what I just realized, and I feel like a total fake fan. I'm just looking at this picture right now, and I always thought that AT-AT drivers had the same helmet as TIE fighter pilots, but I'm looking at it and I see these like tube things hanging down that I've never noticed before. And I'm like, oh, it's totally different. Wow. Well,
it's like because the TIE fighters have the hoses attaching to the front, the two little tubes in the front.
Right.
But they're both essentially, in some ways, it always reminds me of like a Stormtrooper with like an X-Wing helmet on top, kind of. In some sort of the same parts.
Very interesting.
You could have done an SM33 transition into AT-AT driver about not remembering anything about AT-AT.
Well, maybe I got that banked for a few from now, so I wouldn't be too worried about that yet.
Okay.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
And other people have pointed out there's a lot of his jumpsuit underneath all the armor and stuff is used for a few different Imperial people. I think Bodhi Rook might actually use some of these same parts and pieces. I don't know. I'm sure the costumes use the same stuff. It's the same shoulders as the Snowtrooper, which I'm now just realizing, but upside down.
Yep. Which is the same thing the Snowtrooper commander does too, right?
Yep. Upside down. Yep.
Upside down. Yeah.
So going back to the Kenner days, though, I think they did use the same parts, did they not? So perhaps that's why sometimes in your mind you think, oh, it's just a different color figure. I know you weren't necessarily a Kenner child, Tyler, but I think sometimes when you see those together, you kind of think, oh yeah, you know, TIE fighter pilot, AT-AT driver, it's just a repaint, but they are quite different.
And I was confused because I have the Lego TIE pilot helmet, and I was getting that confused because they did reveal the Lego AT-AT driver helmet. So I was confused there. And it was a little more gray than people were used to.
The shoulder pad. Can you guys see the shoulder pad there? Oh, it's upside down. There we go. See the little
compared to
those little lines there at the bottom. It's up at the top on the so it's flipped.
Yep. Sorry, Hasbro, you got to twist something different. Okay, so let's go up to, we went from the prequels to the original. Let's go back to the prequels for a minute. I'm trying to think of a joke. How about this is like a regular Palpatine, but he has sour cream because it's Supreme Chancellor Palpatine. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, it's Jedi Arrest Palpatine. You know what else is awful is trying to figure out what people mean about this figure. And this is one of these things, when Chris was on the stream from Bantha Skull, we talked about, we got to have a list of all the different costumes that people confuse on this stuff. Because Red Robes, Palpatine, Office Duel Palpatine, Red Robes, Episode 3, Chancellor, Senator
Rise of
Palpatine, all these
Skywalker.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, because so ROS, do you mean Revenge of the Sith, or do you mean The Rise of Skywalker? You're missing a key T. The T is the key to all this. It's the Jar Jar of the naming conventions. But
we do need a new one of this figure really bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And of course, it's rumor. Parts are leaking. I feel okay talking about the leaks for the Black Series because they're leaked.
Yeah.
There's leaked parts for this guy, and unfortunate, but yeah, because we only have the Salt Shaker one. The you push down on his.
Oh, it's so
body.
bad.
Probably one of the worst figures we have.
Yeah, it's gotta be like literally one of the worst figures in the past 25 years. It's like really
Red Robes
bad.
Palpatine. Yeah. So yeah, I call him the Jedi Rest version, whatever you want to call him. The Mace Windu fight one, but yeah, I believe what they've done with some of the recent Darth Sidious figures in Black Series is they've used the Book of Boba Fett Luke body because it's pretty generic kind of robes. Looks like a karate sort of gi.
Generic boots, yeah.
Yeah, they just cast it in black or gray or red or whatever they need, and it looks fine. Yeah, it's been 20 years since this guy was made. That's insane.
Wow.
So from a classic, from a 40-some-year-old character from a 20-year-old movie, let's get something a little newer in here, huh? All right, everybody. Neil Nation, rise up for your boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's on the bracket.
Yes.
Y'all are crazy.
You're crazy, Tyler. Leave. Get out.
Now
and I will not.
I would say my daughters, they collect Funkos. They're not really big Star Wars fans, but we all watch the Skeleton Crew together. And the first thing that my daughter said was, "I need to get these guys in as Funkos." And Neil is just, we can't find him anywhere. Like you've got the other three have all been available, but you always sort of go onto a shelf and then there's that gap there. And he's been popular. So, as much as I don't follow what sells in Funko or not, I'm telling you now that he's been selling well in Funko. So I can see why people are pushing for him specifically, if you like, as some of the Skeleton Crew. But,
it's fun. It's adorable. It's got that cross demographic appeal. And also Neil's just a badass certified, that's what it is. Is he enough of a badass though? Because as it stands right now, you know who he's facing off against? Brutus.
Oh, wow.
What an interesting lineup. Wow. That's always fun when it ends up like that,
Yeah.
So, I think Brutus is going to take that one. Which would be an upset because Neil's higher in the. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. But
no, that's the madness of March Madness, man. You never really know.
Yeah.
And if I can compare him to a couple similar figures, we know now he is a Mikian or a Mikian or a Mikian or something. He is not an Ortolan like Max Rebo, but I will say Max Rebo did not make the bracket. He is at 91 this year. He made it in 2022 after his Book of Boba Fett appearance. Has not been in since then. And I'll go ahead and spoil it. Neil ranked the highest out of the Skeleton Crew kids because KB is on the very bottom of the bracket at 64. But Wim and Fern are not too far behind her at 69 and 70. Wim is 69, Fern is 70.
Interesting. I would have thought all four of them would have made it in, but very interesting.
They got close.
Wow. And I think that there's a bit of a vote split to where I kind of think of it where the justification I had on my top 25, I only put Neil on there, but he was, when we talked about it, he was representative of that team, of that like teams and theme thing.
That's exactly what I did.
I want him and I want the rest. So I think
here.
mileage kind of varied with folks where they picked one that they liked or one that they thought would perform the best.
And I think when you're talking action figures, I mean, Neil was an alien character, and then even KB, with her visor, they're more interesting looks, let's be honest, than the other two, which are a little bit more, basic. But like you say, I think we want them all. If you're going to vote for Neil, then really you want to complete that crew. So
absolutely,
to get him there is good.
Yeah. And so we got to, 2 of the 4 of this crew, the Skeleton Crew kids are on here. From where are they from? Why am I blanking on the name of the planet where they're from?
Roll it along. Let's do this.
You got to say the name of the planet.
At-Atin.
You got to say the name of the planet. At-Atin. Can't say I remember no At-Atin. Oh, there you go. There's a segue. I had it teed up the whole time. Number 26, right above Neil, is 26
Yeah.
SM33, the first mate of the Onyx Cinder.
What an image that is, man. He looks scary.
Yeah, so some of these I got to just pull from the cards I had already done, and the other ones I was feverishly grabbing from the internet 10 minutes before the stream started.
Interesting, these two were that much higher than Brutus, actually. I would have thought a lot of people would have put them, Skeleton Crew figures together. So obviously people have pushed those that little bit higher.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure which ones to put on. I do think that, Brutus and SM33 would at least go well with John. They'd make cool figures. And then, like we said, if we're going to do one of the kids, I'm going to pick Neil. And I saw some comment that said, maybe people think they're coming. I don't think they're coming. I have absolutely no reason to believe that they're.
Could you imagine if they made SM33 and they made because, recently we've got tiny little accessories like Luke's comlink and Endara's, I think it was also like a comlink, right? Could you imagine if they made a tiny little rat that could plug into his eye? Like a tiny little rat? That would be crazy.
They could do like the
wildest thing
I would love that so much.
Yeah, I mean, Lola was a pretty small accessory, wasn't she?
Obi-Wan. And she had articulating flaps, right?
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
It wouldn't be accurate, but they could do like they did for that C-3PO Salacious Chrome years ago, where you push the thing on his head forward and the eye pops out. They could do that for SM33. Or a swappable head.
Can you highlight Uncle Dino's comment?
And it would be single carded on a mini card with a VC number.
I hope he's a little.
That's hilarious. That's so funny. I want one of those custom carders out in the community, like Blizzard Force Customs or somebody to make a carded
Snowball.
Just a little crumb in the bill. That would be so funny.
Let's see. Where did somebody ask about Vane? Vane ranked about 166. And there's still a few that I need to consolidate, so this number might switch, but around there. So, okay, we're getting in the top 25, and I will say, as I was consolidating some of these, I did think that Neil and SM33 were in the top 25, but these next two, I found some extra points for them under different names.
Hold on, real quick.
Yeah.
Someone commented, and this is a good point. I'd like a rat like the C-3PO pop out eye. That's true.
I just said that.
Oh, sorry. My
Do
bad.
you even watch this show, Tyler?
Pay attention to the stream.
My bad.
The chat is fun, but that's on the side.
I'm sorry. But yeah, there is a precedent for it. All that to say.
Yes.
So that's interesting.
So
right,
we're in the top
Sorry,
25. You're good, man.
So another thing. Top 25. Let's bring it home. Okay. Only 8 more hours to go. So this is another character, another 5-timer, another well-deserving 5-timer who did incredibly well on the bracket last year, was in the Sweet 16 last year and the first year, and did better than ever in the submissions this year. It is the Jedi Temple Guard.
Ooh.
Love that.
So this is another one where I did combine the individual different unique votes for Clone Wars and Rebels versions, because it's like the same underneath the robes. The Clone Wars has additional robes on top of it, but it's supposed to be the same. I chalked that up to. Yeah,
and I chalked that up
to.
Interesting.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of Rebel stuff. I think they didn't want to render as much cloth, so that's why like the Grand Inquisitor doesn't have a cape, all this stuff like that. But
this one's always a sleeper, man. It's a sleeper hit every time. He made this. You said this is his 5th time. You said, right?
Yeah, and he did the Sweet 16 the first year and the last year, and he beat the Tonicas. That was the big upset last year. He was ranked. So the past 4 times he's been ranked. Oh, did my AirPods just go away? Ranked 50, then 54, then 52, then 61. So he's been really low, and now he's up at 25.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
As it stands right now, he would be facing off against Fozek.
Okay. Another kind of character.
Oh, here's a good question. Rook from Baymax.
Rook. Yeah. Can you guys still hear me, first of all?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because one of my AirPods just died. Rook. Do you want me to spoil it already?
Well,
he could be number 1. We don't know.
Yeah.
He's not number 1. He's a 75. He didn't make it. Okay. He barely missed it. I'm not sure where he was last year.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty good though. That's pretty good. That's respectable, man.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling there's another character who is going to make it in.
Perhaps,
Who
perhaps.
could it be?
Vice Admiral Holdo.
That's probably not the one I'm talking about.
Well, while we're on the sequel trilogy subject here real quick, let's bring in another 5-timer. You know him, you love him? Big Papa Palpatine, Sith Eternal.
Another Red Robes Palpatine.
It's another the other one of many Red Robes Palpatines. This guy, he did love Crimson, but he was 21, then 31, then 39, then 29, now 24. So right where kind of along the lines of where he's been. And I know it was all the Rook. I combined all the Rooks. If you combine all the Rook, he's number 70, whatever, 75.
Gotcha. Interesting.
And then we'll do a deep dive on the 87 different versions of him from the comics.
Only 2 there are. No more, no less.
This isn't even the only zombie Palpatine, man.
Yeah. So then there were some that I didn't include votes for decaying clone Palpatine or whatever. So I would love to we'll do a big Palpatine deep dive with his different outfits, and we'll differentiate. I love how he got new clothes when he reanimated himself somehow.
Yeah.
But,
I would like to know how Zombie Palpatine did. If he's anywhere near.
Yeah, not as well as this guy.
Those Naboo politicians, man, and their wardrobes. A lot going on.
They love Zombie Clone. If I didn't include him with any others, he'd be like 312. So he didn't do nearly as well. And again, this guy benefits from if people just say like restored Palpatine or Episode 9 Palpatine, I throw it towards this guy. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's supposed to be the zombie one, but if you want him, vote for him, and we'll see what happens. In the first year, he got to top 32. But okay, how about we're getting into the heavy hitters now, folks? How about one more 5-timer? Carlo, I hope you're watching. Hope you're doing fine. It's your girl, second sister here at 23.
There she is.
Trilla.
Yeah.
So she was
5, 5th year in a row.
Yep, and she's been in near the top 25 every year. She was 25 the first 2 years, then 30, then 24. Now she's 23. So this is actually her best performance ever, but very consistent with other years.
That's crazy. I think she's around the same in Last Figure Standing as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, I need to pull that up. Yeah, I do. As Miko said, we got to have a big stream where we can compare all the data. I know some of the we'll obviously compare some of their top 10 when we get to that. But so she is still wanted. I will spoil it and say I think if I'm right about that. Yeah, she's the highest ranked Inquisitor.
Hasbro, can you please knock out this character already? Good Lord.
Yeah, man. Well, we also need the Cal to fight her because we don't.
I was just going to say that, Evan. Yeah, I mean, we have one Cal, and I think it's interesting that people don't put the other Cal. Well, it could be on the list, but he hasn't been on the list for many years. Because I think a lot of people think, okay, we've got one, let's get her in at least. But I think if we did get her, I think people would then be calling for that other Cal as well.
And Fallen Order Cal Kestis is 128 this year, so he didn't do terribly.
Damn, Tanith with the data here.
So yeah, 46th on last week.
He came with the notes, man. We gotta have him on one of these streams because he's like a second John, man, ready to get money on the spot.
Tanith is just another persona of John that's currently typing furiously off to the side.
When I throw out the most random, obscure fact, I know I'm not gonna get a DM from Tanith, and it's gonna be beautiful, and it's gonna be a great conversation. But if nobody got me, I know Tanith got me. All right, so thanks, bud. So,
I just want to say everybody gives me crap about all my talking about Imperial rank badges, but he made a whole Excel spreadsheet and he is the rank badge dude. All right. So
somebody asked about Ninth Sister. She's 121. The Ninth Sister Inquisitor. So we have 3 Inquisitors on the bracket. Far. No,
that's not bad. But she's huge, though. She would have to be even bigger than Deluxe. She's a massive figure. She's bigger than a Gamorrean. I mean, she's massive.
Yeah, she's huge.
7th, I believe, is about 117. So she's about 5 ranks above the Ninth Sister, 116. Okay.
Cool.
And some of the lower points I got to condense before releasing the top 100, but I got the bracket, and I said, all right, let me rest my eyes a little bit. Okay, so next up, a second timer who was ranked 50 last year and has jumped up quite a bit. It's Carson Teva.
Hey.
I was going to say from, but he's from everything at this point. So yeah, it would have to be a new X-wing pilot body, as we always say. And then there's the version that has the jacket over it. There's different versions where they can then reuse that jacket and the arms for a Coruscant version from Mandalorian, and there's this other outfit from Ahsoka and all these things. But yeah,
it's crazy, isn't it, that we don't have this figure that ties all of those different shows together? Because you think it's the most obvious one to do, to put in any, on any card or with any set of figures we've got at the moment. It ties in with all of them. It's crazy that we don't have him.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah,
so they can retool him to put out the jacket one for when he's talking to the senators and whatnot.
Yes, which I also just mentioned, but I love you, Tyler.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
That's all right. There's a lot going on. Okay, so
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I'm pulled in like 4 different directions.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to repeat everything I ever say. Number 54 on last figure standing. Okay, so number 21, another one where we can discuss this. I'm writing segues as we do it. I think you could call Carson Teva an alpha. He's kind of a Chad, kind of a bro, kind of an alpha. What about Omega? There you go.
There we go. Omega.
That's a good one for you. Omega. So this is her 3rd bracket appearance. She did not make it on in 2023, but she made it on in 22 and last year. This is her highest ranking ever. She was 49 last year. Wow. I think probably after the 3rd season concluded. I did combine her different or unique votes for the different season looks, which maybe you can disagree with, and that's fine. But she would have been on the bracket either way. And perhaps her brothers are ranked on here as well, where I did something similar for them. So I wanted to show support for her in general, which is I tried to hew to that for these other characters. So yes, finished the 99.
I wonder how she'll do if this stays the same, facing off against Garandan.
Oh,
interesting.
Yeah,
a couple third timers. So yeah, she didn't make it out of the first round the last couple times. All right, top 20. Here we go. Yeah. Thank you, Tanner. Let's see if Tanner says it. I'm going to go with it.
Condensed. I'm not sure what he.
I think the different looks.
Season 1, 2, and 3 condensed.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, what's next? It's another animated favorite who's coming to Black Series this year, sadly, but it's Savage Opress. Is number 20. He made it to the top 20 this year. He's never made it this time. He was 30 last year. This is another 5-timer, so he has been on all 5 years. He made it to the Elite 8 the first year. And made it to the top 32 last year. But he was ranked in the 50s the first 2 years, then 49, then 30. I don't need to go over that number every time, but I'm throwing every number at you. But he's on the list. So yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So.
I like that. And it goes to, since we've been getting so much of like that kind of Mandalore beat, building out that world of the later seasons Mandalore stuff. We have that mall. We have a bunch of the Mandalorians and Maldalorians that go there. It'd be pretty good to get Savage, man.
Yep. And another one of these Clone Wars characters. He was made in the animated line, but they were in the realistic line. And Satine as well for the Mandalorian beat. Yeah, we got Pre Vizsla recently, who's from the
incredible
5 arc. Yep. And the Black Series one does not have his robotic arm from season 5, but Savage, but I'm sure they're going to reach at some point.
I like this 3-pack idea.
Yes.
I'd be way into that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to make another concept for that and figure out if we have we have tooling wise for that.
I do,
because I need more stuff to do.
One of our many return to mini beat things I want to do is Mandalorian. I know you get a lot of Mandalorians, but there are a lot of cool versions from the Clone Wars that we still need. Including some people asked for Mandalorian Obi-Wan from this arc. Didn't quite make it the bracket, but you know who did? Obi-Wan from episode 3, of course.
Hey, all right.
And he was in the top 12 of last figure standing, but he's number 19 here, so maybe I missed a couple votes or something, I'm not sure. But he was 27 last year, and he was in the 190s, 140s before that. So this is his 2nd appearance.
Wow. He really jumped up. Huge.
Yep.
Yeah, well,
so
I think,
assume after Anakin being made,
I love that. That is He was my number 1 last year, if I'm not mistaken. No, Anakin was my number 1. Obi-Wan was number 2, and he was my number 3 pick this year. So. Satine's boyfriend, yeah.
So hopefully, yeah, when we talk about, Hasbro says, well, you want prequel figures, which ones do you want? Well, we want Anakin, we got him, and we want Obi-Wan too.
Yep, gotta do that
all these
battle
other
for the
characters,
heroes.
Yep.
Make the names.
Another a hero in our hearts. Another 5-timer here. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it well. Lewis, we're gonna do it for Dryden.
Yeah.
18.
Oh, 18.
Wow.
It's
18,
interesting
this is
because he's
highest
gradually
rank
just, he's just risen up every year, hasn't he? That's,
Yep. Well, he was
good.
37, 36, and 38, but then 25, and now 18. So yeah.
Wow, he's
rising
moving
up.
up. Interesting.
Ooh, he's gonna have to fight Jackie.
Both on my list. Both on my list. But,
Man. What's interesting
That's
too is that
Dryden.
Dryden consistently makes this list, but Crimson Dawn Maul from the very end of the movie doesn't. He's made it once or twice, I think, right? But
yeah, he was on the first year, and then he let me pull this up.
Dropped off after that.
He's ranked 173 this year, and I don't know why he
really fell off. Man.
He was 55 the first year, then 75, then 167, then 170, then 170. So he's hovering around the 170 range the last couple of years.
Wow. Holy crap.
I think it makes sense so that Dryden would be prioritized since he's main villain. Maul was cameo at the end.
True.
And like I said,
but
currently
it's just surprising. It's Darth Maul, but anyway.
Yeah. Maybe people, I expected them to follow up on that scene, and that was, 7 years ago now, whatever.
Yeah.
And it sadly didn't happen. But Dryden got his moment in the sun, the Sons of Severine. So here in the bracket.
So I just gotta say, he would win that battle against Jackie. No, man, did you see her fight? She's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Terrace Cassie's got nothing.
The whole puncher with his little vibro blades. But okay, so a few minutes ago, Tyler, you were talking about the character. Rook didn't make it. Were you thinking another Heir to the Empire character might have made it? Maybe.
Yes, I'm thinking so.
Thinking, was it this? Was it Mara Jade?
Miss Jade. Yeah.
I didn't update her look, but I think she was number 58 last year. So she had and she wasn't on the first few years.
Jump.
This is her second appearance. Big jump.
Oh no!
Big jump.
She's going up against Ben Solo.
Oh,
I think man. R.I.P. Ben.
It was a good run.
I think Mara's gonna spank that ass.
Yeah.
Dang it.
It's interesting though, that jump just shows the power of building teams and building around things that Hasbro put out, because all of a sudden that set has just made her like straight up there. Yeah. And that's why it's interesting that Rook isn't on there, but I think when people get those sets in hand, and if you could build on that a bit more, I think he would start to sort of hit people's lists. But
I would love to get Mara in the like I said, when that 3-pack came out, I never in a million years thought that we would get the Heir to the Empire logo on TVC cards. I mean, that's just absolutely magical for me. We've seen customizers make those for many years. Again, Blizzard Force Customs is a great shout out there. I just never thought it would happen, and now that those doors have been blown open, I would love to see Mara Jade make it into that lineup too. That little mini beat there.
You want the hair, the 80s hair from the Black Series one repacked?
No.
It's the image that's on Tyler's top 25. It's from the cover of the Legacy of the Force book, Sacrifice.
Sacrifice. Yeah.
That's what I think of when I think of Mara. Would that work for Heir to the Empire? I think it looks similar, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I just meant by Heir to the Empire, just because that's her first where she's from originally.
Oh yeah, no. I just meant in general, not your image choice.
Okay. And this image maybe not the proper one, but it's I don't know. I know her cat suit's been made every time. Some people want the green Jedi look from one of the books in Japan or something.
Yeah.
Some people might want this, but I think most people that voted for her wanted a better version of the cat suit version. Like
if they made Jackie, then they'd have the body to put her on, but
for the Jedi one,
yeah. Real quick, I just want to circle back up to someone asked about who is Dash going up against, and I believe he's facing off against Carson Teva at the moment.
Okay. Interesting. Shoulder pads versus helmets. So, all right, number 16, another 5-timer. Another character needed to complete a crew. Am I going to do the voice? Is Evan going to do the voice? I'm going to do it because it's Booty Rook.
Yes.
Local boy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Pretty high
Good
up there.
position. Yeah.
Love
this is
that.
actually also his highest performance ever. He was
Which
35
demonstrates
and 38.
people are super tired of waiting around.
Yeah,
this
man.
Figure.
Yep.
It's been
I
5
bet
years
Baze
since we
is
got
going to be even higher too.
Yeah.
Like I would bet my entire next paycheck that Baze is in the top 15.
I'd say top 10.
Yeah.
He didn't
Very
make the
possibly
bracket.
top 10. Yeah.
So yeah, we need Bodhi. Black Series got him a few years after the rest of the Rogue One crew. There's a 5 POA version, but I know it doesn't count.
We haven't seen
Not a thing.
Saw yet either, actually. So I bet
Nope.
both of them are going to be in here. We'll see. But
So perhaps there's another Rogue One character. Maybe two. Maybe 2 tubes.
oh
Dang.
man, two
That's
wow,
high.
2
Yeah.
tubes made
Well,
it high.
He was
Wow.
Wow.
they
Rogue
were.
One's doing well this year.
And so again, yeah. So this is where I said just put 1 on your list, and if there was 2, I only counted the higher one, so I did not count if he voted for 2 of them. I didn't count both. He was 20 last year. He was 35 the year before, and now he's 15. So with Andor coming back and everything, could do well. He was in the top 32 the past 2 years. So yeah, and again, one could beget the other, and there's different versions with the necklace from Solo and Andor and stuff versus Rogue One. But yeah, I really hope the black and white partisan X-wing actually does something in Andor season 2. That'd be awesome to see that.
Yeah.
Another easy repaint for Hasbro to do. Twerking for 2 tubes.
Riley.
I can assume that Radis didn't make it, but did he? And where did
Radis
he
did
end
not
up?
make it. Let's see. Radis made it 124.
Okay.
Interesting. Wow.
And then, yeah, I believe it was Ultimate Battle Station online that posted several different Rogue One characters, including Radis, use the same legs. They might use the same legs as one of the 2 tubes. Don't quote me on that. But those pants and boots clearly got a lot of work on the set of Rogue One back in the day.
Apparently
Yeah,
this
back in the
hashtag
day.
is taken off.
Yeah, twerking for 2 tubes. Love it. But yeah, next year, 10th anniversary of Rogue One. I mean,
Yes.
it's kind of insane to me that 10 years after something comes out, we have to be like, can we get some of the main characters and cool stuff? But
Oh, it's so tiring, dude.
I digress.
And we got one of them in 5 POA, but not both of them.
Yeah.
So still waiting on the full set.
Ooh, Melshi is a good question. I do wonder about Melshi.
He's number 1, dude. Don't spoil it.
Yeah, he's number 1. No, he did 92.
Oh.
And then I could have combined him with the Scarif Rebel Trooper, who was at 202, but I didn't do that because they wouldn't have made the bracket, I don't believe. If I did that, but yes. Okay, so a lot of love for Melshi, but it needs to be a little more. But there is a lot of love, and there has been a lot of love all 5 years for my boy, sweet Simalu, number 14.
Wild.
He was 43, then 20, then 29, then 21. So he keeps doing better every year. He's never won a single round, but this is his year. I can feel it.
Is it though? Because John, he lost to Good Boy Sweater Ben Solo. Was it last year or the year before? He's going up against Supreme Leader Kylo at the moment.
In 22, he lost a bit. In 22, he lost to Ben Solo. So interesting.
Very
How well he did this
interesting.
time.
Wow.
I mean, he does kind of look like a dead man walking, to be fair. So I don't think he's going to get any further.
I bet you that could be an upset against Supreme Leader. But then again, Supreme Leader's never. He said he's never won a matchup, right? So, which is
Right.
hard to believe. I find that very hard to believe. But
A lot of the times, and not this is out there in the knowledge, but a lot of the times I love this. All due respect to everybody and everybody, whatever you like, but the sequel trilogy stuff tends to be about 25%. In the vote, and usually everything's close to 50-ish, and sometimes for what say what you will, I think sometimes the ST stuff doesn't do as well in the voting, but a lot of the lower rank stuff didn't do as well in the voting anyway. So I guess that just makes sense. Okay, so this is his year. I can feel it. But okay, number 13. I heard you talking about him a minute ago. You may have heard his voice a minute ago, but it's Saw Gerrera.
Hey, yep.
He was 19
surprised.
last year, 15 the years before. He was in the 50s or 50s.
Wow,
He
so
made it to
he's moving up.
And he made it to the Sweet 16 in 22 and 23, top 32 last year. But yeah, so he's doing well. Let me see if I can find his. Yes, I did combine his Rogue One and Andor looks, which maybe his Andor look is fairly different. He would have been below Simalu if I didn't include Rogue One, so it wasn't that big of a difference. He would have been very high in the bracket either way.
So, does he have the gas to fight against Maroc?
Oh wow!
He's going up against Maroc.
Oh, a gas breather versus a gas cloud.
No, Maroc is gonna get crushed.
Maroc's gonna get rocked.
That's so disappointing. I was hoping Maroc could win at least one round, but no chance, dude.
Maroc went out first round last year too. I think I made a meme for him with the what is it from Old School, the Dust in the Wind funeral.
He's gonna get crushed. That makes me sad.
Mark lost to the Snowtrooper last year.
Yeah.
That we have. So,
but again,
he didn't hold the prayer against the Snowtrooper either. But
worth mentioning though, this could change if there's anything revealed in the Hasbro stream, whatever. All of these matchups will be shuffled up a little bit, but just at the moment where it stands, that's where we're at.
Somebody said Dash Rendar is number 1. No, you missed it. He was in like 46 or something. So too late.
Yeah, correct.
43. Okay. Yes. All right. Somebody who did another. Saw was a 5-timer. This next guy was a 5-timer. He was 15 last year, but he's also your 2024 champion. It's Pong Krell.
Oh, wow, man.
Number 12 this year. So he was in the 20s the first 3 years. Now he's up here in the teens.
Damn. What if? How wild would it be if Pong Krell won 2 years in a row? I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Is that legal?
But that would be... The community will make it legal.
Shoot him or something.
That would be so crazy, though. If he did win twice in a row, that would be wild.
Yeah, are people gonna feel that the message has been sent, or are they gonna feel that we need to send it again to just hammer it home?
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see how he does. We'll see. Hasbro has I will say they have a perfect track record of making all champions, whether that's been coincidence or we influenced that, I don't know, but if they want to keep their perfect track record going, they got to make Pong.
And would be awesome because Clone Wars stuff always tends to do quite well on the actual brackets. He made it up to the Sweet 16 2 of the years. He actually didn't win a round in 2022.
Interesting.
He lost to Darth Revan, who did really well that year.
Looking at these matchups, I think Pong is up against the 5th brother in this first round.
Interesting.
If he wins that in the next round, as this stands, he would then go up against Omega and Garandan, which I think Pong would easily take away. Would win that one
over Omega too.
I think so.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's wild, but anyway, I do think he has a clear path to victory again if he wants to. But I don't know.
That would be so crazy.
Yeah.
That would be so crazy.
So all we can say is Hasbro, just please release him.
Yeah, please. At least like pipeline
reveal him. Just please reveal him.
Pipeline him on Wednesday, so I don't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
So, you might think of Dexter Jester pulling up his pants when you see Pong Krell. But a lot of people, think he's big, beefy, cool action hero guy. No, not hero, but cool villain. 4 lightsaber blades, 4 arms. Just would make a cool action figure. Which is exactly the same case for number 11, Pelimato, the action hero of our time.
You had me going.
Oh my god,
she's pretty high this year. Where did she come?
That's really high.
We have so much that goes with her.
Yeah, so 2 years ago, real quick, I'll just say she was 32, then she was 18 last year, so now she's 11.
Wow, she's moving up, man.
And she complements not 1 but 2 HasLabs, and I wonder if the Cantina also was maybe a bit of a boost for her.
Yep, and the N1 and stuff.
N1,
she'd be great to pose out in the streets of Mos Eisley, because even though she's not in New Hope, she was around probably at the time.
Yeah.
Canonically speaking, but she walks around in Mando and stuff. But
I wonder if she'll be in the Mando and Grogu movie. It'd be interesting to see.
I don't know. She's another one like Carson Teva, the kind of a mainstay across these various shows. She's obviously big in Book of Boba Fett. Wasn't in Ahsoka, but she keeps appearing in all these seasons. So I think, unlike someone like the Client, a little lower, is only in one season, a one and done situation. She keeps popping up and becoming, more and more important to the story. So,
somebody submitted a custom Pelly enjoying a drink with a Jawa in a cantina scene for Valentine's Day, and I thought it was so funny, but I forgot to post it, but it was hilarious. Oh, it genuinely made me laugh. I should have posted that, but anyway.
Yeah, Black Series did a set of her droids with R5D4 and then a couple pit droids and the BD unit, I believe. But they did everything but Polymono, so I don't know. Maybe TVC could do something similar.
So Peli or Padme? Who do you?
Oh wow!
Wow, number 13 on Last Figure Standing. So she's almost the same position.
And also, don't forget. So in Last Figure Standing, two of those top figures have already been made since last summer, which was Anakin and the Snowtrooper. So she is the 11th highest in there.
Wow.
So as we say, she loves Jawas. Someone who hates Jawas can't abide them. Nasty creatures. The C-3PO, of course.
There you go.
Wow, yeah.
We're getting into the top 10. He's number 10.
This is C-3PO.
He was 33, then 35. He was not on the first 2 years, and didn't win a vote either of the times he was on the bracket. So this is another one where I combine the different, obviously the unique votes, but for all his different appearances, other than Phantom Menace or something. But most people wanted his original or A New Hope look.
So this clearly indicates that people want a repack of the existing TVC one, right?
Don't put that evil out there. Don't even joke. We can't afford to joke.
Oh my!
Do you want to know who he's going up against?
Yes,
I do.
It's another droid.
Grievous. Interesting.
Grievous isn't a droid.
Half droid, cyborg.
Half droid, cyborg.
The droid general. There we go.
All right. C-3PO has
I wonder who will take that. I bet you 3PO. Well, I don't know. You said 3PO has never won a matchup before? Is that what you said?
Yeah. But Grievous has never been on the list, on the bracket at all before.
That's true.
And I think 3PO has benefited from all the other New Hope, mains getting made finally.
And being the only one conspicuously absent.
Yeah, R2D2 just got repacked. Some people want a new one. I'm happy with the existing one, but so 3PO needs Chewie needs love too, but at least he's getting a half update.
I wonder if Grievous can pull off that upset. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe.
Before we keep going, John, so we got 9 more left. I just want to do a quick check-in here. We're 2.5 hours just about. We got 209 people watching at the moment. Again, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
It's the obligatory moment to say, please make sure you've liked this video, subscribe to this channel for more of this kind of stuff. And then that's it. That's the only interruption I wanted to make. So John, continue.
It's important. So thank you. So as you're saying, Chewie's getting new legs. So, we got half new figures on the brain. This is Tyler's favorite up here. You know him, you love him. Arlisle Shoes, number 9.
Why did I get targeted here?
Well, yeah.
All right.
So it was the leg thing.
But yeah. Okay, fair enough. So we had a vicious, deadly tug of war. People almost died over arguing about this. Literally, no, I'm exaggerating a little bit. So it's always tricky, right? Because clearly there's very high community demand for this figure, but half of this figure already exists because Jad Nanawood has his entire lower body, right? So we had to balance between our primary sort of goal in this tournament of focusing on newly tooled figures, right? Because that is what we're trying. We're trying to encourage new stuff, right? But also balancing the fact that if we had disqualified this guy, the community would have hunted us down with pitchforks. So
we made an exception and let this guy through, but I just want to be clear, like, when that's not always going to happen. And, we can talk about other examples of that if you want, John, but
I don't want.
okay.
We've talked about it ad nauseum for the past month, and this is what it is. So here we go.
He's on here.
People, if it was like number 6, if he was number 64 and it could have been on the bubble, maybe you could have made, we could have discussed whether or not we'd allow it. But the fact that he is so high, and I know, and maybe he would have been even higher, like Tan said, he was the last figure standing. He won that tournament this past summer, and he was also number 1 in the submissions in last figure standing. And maybe he would have been higher if people weren't thinking about the all new tooling rule here or whatever. This is, as Chris says, Arlisle should be disqualified and replaced with Molas, in true to honor George Lucas.
Yeah, if you really want to
respect
respect the maker's legacy.
He's here. He's on the bracket. He's not disqualified. Everybody can rejoice if you want him. But again, similar to Pong winning March Madness last year, he won last figure standing. Do people want to send the message again to Hasbro to make sure they release him? Is it going to be more of, okay, he won one of the polls, maybe he doesn't need to win another poll? I don't know. I'll leave it to you. I'm not going to put my finger on the scales on that one. And he is still in the movie in the very beginning of One Shot in the background, in the blurry background.
Yeah. The Arlisle's path here is a path through other OT figures so far. His first matchup would be against a man-to-man. Second matchup would be against either not an OT figure, but Eternal Palpatine or Bosk. And then, so
interesting.
So same quadrant with Fozek as well. So
people always give us guff about recency bias when we say, "Oh, we want a new figure from the new show," but he was ranked 147 last year and is only number 9 because he was revealed for the HasLab and did not quite make it. So if that's not recency bias, then I don't know what is, folks. But I love you. So okay, just had to throw that out there. So will he be the winner here? We don't know, but he could be. Stay seated as he is. And yes, of course, we need that all-new jacket so we can get blurry third Duros in the background of the Greedo scene, everyone's favorite iconic character who doesn't even have a name or a visible clear shot of him. And he has been a lot on people's lists. He was one of the higher ranked Cantina aliens. He is, spoiler alert, the highest ranked Cantina alien on this list as well. So only 2 Cantina adjacent figures this year from A New Hope with Shoes and Gurinden. You can add C-3PO, you can add Pelimato. If you want to, but
frog lady.
Yeah. Okay, so 8. I'm gonna do the same joke I did last year. 8. Oh, is there an echo in here? Yes, there is. It was so good I had to use it again. I'm sorry.
Oh man.
But huge jump. He was he was 33, then 50, then 22 last year. Now he's number 8. And so again, this is one he made it into the Elite 8 last year in the bracket. So there's obviously a demand for Echo in the Bad Batch version. This combines his different season looks on here as well, because they would be repaints of each other for this guy.
So I think we can all guess who's going to be in the 7 above him.
Yeah.
Some of the figures in the 7 above him.
This bums me out. Who he's going up against in this first round is going to be Kelleran Beck. This is opponent.
Man.
Kelleran Becco.
Yeah.
Beck versus Echo.
Kelleran's probably going to lose that one.
And the answer is no, we can't vote for both. I wish we could. Oh, how I wish we could. But.
Yes. Okay, somebody asked for Sizvit real quick. Let me take a break from if I can get the multiple. He was number 85, so he, I think he was the highest ranked one not on the bracket. Actually, so yes,
interesting.
We're running out of completely unmade Cantina. The Trillion was 2 beneath him. Those are 85 and 87, where I combined the different, and then Labria. Oops, I feel bad saying that word at all. And then Boshek at 96. So there's a couple on the 100. I think it's one of those cases where people need to rally around one. The Tonikas and the Hammerhead did fantastic the past several years. So obviously there is demand for these characters. It's just a matter of which ones do people rally around. So anyway, that's the Cantina spiel. Back to the Bad Batch. Shall we move on to number 7?
Let's do it, man.
Yeah.
A character who was in the Bad Batch this past year, who was number 12 last year, who was in the championship 2 years ago, the Elite 8 before that, Final 4 last year. It's Asajj Ventress.
Nice.
Ooh, yeah.
And
No
this
surprise.
And this in particular is just her more dark side versions. I took the Bounty Hunter, Bad Batch, Dark Disciple versions, which are all a little different, separated those, but kept all her different dark side, people appearances for this. I don't know. Even though I could have had the micro series, I don't know if I would have made a difference. She's very high on the list, regardless. She could have been even higher, but yeah. So we need Ventress.
And she has been for a number of years now, isn't she? She's always been up there.
Yeah, she was 34, then 29, then 25, then 12. So she keeps getting higher every year. Now 7. And like I said, yeah, always does well in the tournament.
And she got to the final with Dooku, didn't she?
Yeah, so in the 2021, she was top 32, then Elite 8, then in the championship against Dooku, and then in the Final 4 last year where she lost to Balin.
We have talked about this before. Speaking of reusing, legs with the Arlyle thing. We've talked about how she could possibly use the Morgan legs, correct? The Morgan Elsbeth legs.
Yeah.
So
there's
a pathway to get her into the line without as much investment.
Not disqualifying her just because of that. Yeah, I was trying to think, is the height correct? I don't know, but some of these things under skirts and whatnot, they could do it. Yeah, Ventress and Luthen are the only ones left from the first last figure standing. So that's nice to see. Yeah, some of these repeat characters. I had a whole list about some of the repeat characters earlier. Go listen to the other live stream after this one. I'm sure you need more of my yapping about numbers and background characters.
That's what we're all here for, dude. We're here for you.
Well, we only have 6 more, so savor every last one.
Almost there.
Time is ticking away with tick. I don't know. That didn't make any sense, but you get the idea. Tech is number 6, and he was number 14 last year. He was not on the bracket the first year. He was ranked 88 after the Clone Wars, but right before their show came out. Then 35, then 51, now up to 14. So clearly, and he was in the Sweet 16 in 2022 and 2024. Lost to Shin Hati last year.
He's up against another Ahsoka character at the moment, Paradia Ezra.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be interesting to see who takes that. Probably Tech, though.
Yeah, tick. So
we'll see.
Yeah, then I think both Tech and Echo had very minor costume tooling differences, like animation model differences between the two looks, so they can just repaint one for the other as they did in Black Series if they ever make it. That's 2 figures. It's 2 in 1 right there. Come on, Hasbro. All right, top five. This guy has been on all 5 years. He was number 7 last year, number 10 the year before, 13 the year before, raising up a little every year, 23 the first year.
Is it Baze?
He has.
Baze.
I'm in a daze. We got a Blaze. It's Baze, baby. And I was looking. He was in the Elite 8 last year, where he lost to Ponkrell, the winner. So, and yes, he and Luthen are some of the only remaining ones from the top 10 from the past couple of years. Some of the only remaining ones from last figure standing the past couple of years. Yeah, actually,
and he's another one, isn't he? When we had that so-called mini beat for Rogue One, everyone kind of thought, oh, Baze will come along, and here we are.
I think I said it earlier, where it has now been 5 years, just about, since we got Chirrut.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And so, getting a new Baze, it's like awesome, but then Chirrut's gonna look out of date next to him. That's tough.
They really got to stop doing that, man.
And Jin looked like crap next to them. So
it doesn't mean you need to redo Chirrut.
No. But
because I know on one of the Steve mentioned, they're like, yeah, if you do Luke 5 years after Leia, then Leia will look at it. It's like, well, then we'll redo Leia. It's like, well, I don't know. Okay, anyway,
it's the importance of the teams and themes, guys.
Yes. So
can you highlight Andrew Cook's comment?
I just spotted that as well.
Well said, Andrew.
Yep.
Yeah. But
we'll
I do want to I do want to give Hasbro credit. Like, they are knocking out a lot of the top stuff that we've asked for. They are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll get into some of the multiple timers in a minute, but they always do well. I have some of those numbers as well. So once we get to number 1, it's not quite done, so like and subscribe and follow us and brush your teeth and comb your hair and
get something to
go
eat.
to bed at a reasonable hour. Yeah, all these things. But okay, so let's stay in the Rogue One universe with another character who was been on the bracket 3 times now. He was number 7 in 2023, number 6 last year. He's been on last figure standing every time. He's number 4 this year. We got a Luthen up.
Yep.
Luthen Rail, number 4.
Number 4.
Last year he made it into the he made it into the Sweet 16 last year.
All right, as it stands right now, his matchup is the Battle of the Old Men. It is Luthen versus Old Rex.
Oh,
Okay,
Ooh,
interesting.
That's gonna be an interesting one to see how that goes.
Yep.
2 rebel operatives, yeah.
Yep.
They're both very beloved characters, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Mm.
And now because this will end right before Andor season 2 comes out, so maybe he'll be even more on the radar now. I don't know. I know he has some more costumes.
That's true.
This combined his different rebel costumes. I could have thrown some of his Coruscant Antiques dealer costumes as well, but it wouldn't have made really much of a difference. Obviously, where did the Rebo band rank? Don't worry about that right now.
Number 1 on Yak Faces Elite 25.
Yeah. So and I've seen his season 2 look. It's similar where he's kind of wearing like his the black outfit, but with the green tan trench coat over it, the olive trench coat kind of over it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we'll make it griefed again, where it's the season 2 version and not the season 1 look if they do them. But I don't know. We'll see. I think most people that specified preferred the same one the Black Series got, the season 1 version that works with the casting that we already have.
Yes, middle-aged Kiwi man. Man, y'all don't have a lot going on this Saturday, do you?
But thank you all for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
So, all right, top 3. And interestingly, some of these are a little bit, because of the point system that we do that, the ranking might be a little different as we go on. Number 3 in the ranking is actually number 2 in the number of lists he was on.
Okay.
Again, combining the different appearances as we have all the years. Number 3, who could it be? It's Crosshair. Yeah, Crosshair. He's in our crosshairs. We need him, Hasbro. Come on. He was ranked 16 last year. He was in the 40s the first 2 years. He made it to the Sweet 16 last year on the bracket, lost to Balin.
Who did he get further than any of the other Bad Batch last year, or did someone
no? I believe. Let me see. Tech and Echo made it to the. Wait, who made it to the top 4?
Is Rucker gonna be like number 2 or number 1? This would be so wild.
I don't know.
Oh my god.
Donkey.
Echo.
Donkey.
Echo made it to the Elite 8. Echo was in the Elite 8 last year.
right.
Tech was in the Sweet 16 last year. Crosshair was in the Sweet 16, and maybe somebody else was in the Elite 8 who we might be talking about in a minute.
Yeah, no, interesting.
Yeah, so number 1 and 2, it's Kitster and Wald, obviously, not to spoil it. But so, yeah, let me look at my notes. Anything else to say about these guys? But we need him. Yeah, and he came back. I think most people actually prefer the regular version this year of Crosshair as opposed to the Imperial version.
Interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
Because he wore the same armor in season 3. There's a few different versions they could do because he has his shorter hair in the season 3, but in the original armor and all this stuff. But anyway, we need it before one can beget the other. We need one before we make all the others. So there you go. Okay, so
Crosshair is up against the Galactic Marine in his first matchup.
Oh,
he's gonna crush the Marine.
He was up against the Clone Commando last year, I remember.
Oh, that's an interesting lineup too.
Yeah, or no, that was a different guy who we'll get to in a second. Let's get to him now. Number 2, Rekka.
All right.
You believe it? And he was actually on the most lists.
Wow.
He was number 1 in terms of lists.
Wow.
Oh, really?
One of Tyler's favorite characters. Yeah.
Very interesting. Wow.
I don't think he stands a chance in his first matchup. I am sorry, guys, but Yachts Aron is going to take this easily.
Well,
clearly.
I mean, we laugh, but to be fair, there's a lot of people that support OT and won't support that Bad Batch stuff. So it could be a good match. It could be closer.
It could be a closer matchup than we think. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Number 7 on LFS, according to Tanith.
All the Bad Batch dudes were in last figure standing, I believe, this year. They're still waiting on Hunter is still all alone. God bless him. He's drinking at the bar. But it's interesting that after, the first couple years, well, the first, couple 2-3 years, the Rebels crew all did really well. And then last couple of years, the New Hope crew did really well. Hasbro's knocked them out now. It seems like it's the Bad Batch's turn to be ranked very high on the list as a collective. I think, in the previous years, I would put 1 or 2 on my list. I think I only put 3 still, but whatever. I think people are just putting more as these other important needs get made, other things rise to the top, and people are tired of waiting for them. We see posts about them all the time in Boss Finance Q&A. I see people ask about them every single week, almost. And
it's almost like it was a bad call for them to skip making the titular team of a series about clone troopers that people tend to like. So,
I think we made 4.
The worry is as well is that it's finished. The show is obviously finished now, and that's the worry. Is it could drop away a bit from people's thoughts. And I mean, again, same reason I champion Solo is because it's there, it's gone, and it's moved on. But I don't want people to forget it. I don't want Hasbro to forget it. And I think
clearly, though, I mean, Dryden and the Bad Batch are both moving closer to that number 1 position. Yeah.
Because they're holes. They're obvious holes in our collections, aren't they? I mean, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
And so, as you're seeing newer
holes.
stuff coming through, you're seeing like the Skeleton Crew stuff coming through, but obviously people aren't putting that as a priority as some of this stuff that's been around a lot longer now. So, it's interesting to see where we end up.
And sometimes with the newer shows like Skeleton Crew, maybe people don't want it, but maybe people are thinking they're going to get around to it. I remember we sometimes we give them the benefit of the doubt, saying, okay, that show just aired there. I'll give them a little bit of time to see what they do. And then sometimes we get more, sometimes we get nothing more. So I don't know. Somebody up here posted, the Bad Batch is done, but so is the original trilogy, so is the prequel trilogy, so is
true.
So is
a lot of these are old.
Nothing's currently
done. They are still writing novels, aren't they? They've just released a Bad Batch novels, so it's not like they're totally gone. We haven't totally forgotten about them, but it is just. I think that it makes them more of a priority. I think for some people because they kind of feel that they want to get them now.
Yeah, and we saw them. First, though, the Bad Batch. What celebration was that in the unfinished animatics, John?
Yeah, at Celebration 2015, Anaheim.
Wow.
So 10 years. Okay, seems to be the number.
So who knows? But
the Clone Wars came back and ended again, and an entire spin-off show began and ended again in the time that it took.
I mean, it took Rebels 10 years to get them, so I'll say. Stranger things have happened, including
I'm shocked.
Your number 1 figure of submission of the year is the Stranger Chimere.
Yep.
Who also did very well. It was a runner-up on Last Figure Standing, is new this year, of course.
Yep.
He
went
got
against Carlisle in that.
Wow.
So I'll say he was on 388 lists, whereas Crosshair was on 398. Wrecker was on 404 lists. But the Stranger got 6,273 points on those lists.
Wow,
so he was high up on all those lists. He was on.
So he was high up on all those lists. Yeah.
Wow.
So yes,
that is,
and that's without a couple of votes for Chimere, not the Stranger. So some people wanted his Olega version, his potions master, whatever that video was. Remember that?
Opinions on the source notwithstanding, I really don't want to get into that whatsoever.
Please, notwithstanding, don't talk about
it. This is like, the rule of cool thing. Bad guy, generally liked, and even if people didn't like what was around him, it's just a cool figure, man. Obviously, I'm biased because he's my number 1 most wanted as well on my personal list. I was really excited seeing him do well in Last Figure Standing. It's just one of those, like, we shouldn't have to ask for this guy, but here we are. So I'm hoping that this sends a clear message as well to Hasbro that, at the very least, put a button on this chapter.
Will he become the champion too? That would be, that'd be interesting.
Be going up against KB if the bracket holds currently. So I have a feeling he's going to do just fine in there. But
that's cool. I love that, man. That makes me really happy.
Yeah. So there's your top 64 folks, and then we're not quite done yet. So like and subscribe and all that stuff, and get a beverage. Well, we won't be going too much longer, but I want to go over some other odds and ends here, if that's all right with everybody.
7th Fleet actually asked what I was going to ask already. If you happen to know.
Yeah, she was 72 this year, young Leia.
Okay.
So didn't quite make the bracket. Let me just go. So let's go top 75. So Rook was 75. 74 was Mustafar Newt Gunray. 73 is Kino Loy. 72,
Oh.
Little Leia. 71, Uncle Owen from A New Hope. 70, Fern.
Oh, wow.
69, Wim. 68, Princess Leia, Ewok Village, who has made it before on the bracket.
Wow.
67, this was going to be another one we were probably going to take off, was Grand Moff Tarkin, so thank God he didn't quite make it. And then 66 was Andor, Mon Mothma. 65 is Shakti, who has made it once or twice
Oh,
before.
wow. Interesting.
Cool.
And then, yeah.
They could. So if Hasbro did actually knock anything off, then that's our contenders that would slip in there,
Yep.
which is interesting. Hope Tarkin doesn't rise up to the top.
Yeah.
I just need to make him, man. Easy retool. Just do it already.
Yeah.
Like, we shouldn't even have to ask for something that obvious, honestly.
No.
Like,
I won't be going over every single one that gets asked in the chat, but I saw like young Ahsoka from the flashback was 170.
Okay.
The Great Mothers, Tyler, they were 84.
wow,
Like I said,
top
that's
100,
high.
not bad.
Yeah, so they did
not
better
bad.
than I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was, again, most people only said Great Mothers, and some people said
Witches,
yeah,
Ahsoka witches or something. Yeah.
Clotho, Actropalachesis, their names. But Kitster and Wald, of course, Tanith. I don't mean to leave you hanging. Kitster was 273, sorry. Wald was 287. They're on 18. He was on 18 lists.
And I just highlighted this comment,
so,
John, just because as we do in years past, I think we usually release the top 100.
Yeah, so either this week or more likely later on towards the end of the bracket, I will be revealing the top 100, because beyond that, it's kind of hard to exactly see where everything kind of ranks. And I still need to condense a few of the characters that I checked weren't going to make the bracket, but didn't put my full effort into. So there you go. A lot of people dead last. A lot of people had one vote, of course. A lot of how many people had only one vote? Let me see. I don't know. Don't worry about it.
That's
okay.
let
me just talk.
Gideon and his troopers.
Oh yeah. So Moff Gideon. I had notes about that, which are right. Where are they?
I'm surprised that because Armored Gideon made the top 64 last year.
Yeah. So Moff Gideon is 76 this year. And Imperial Armored Commandos 81 this year. And not to tip, we don't talk about rumors, but Yak Face has his rumor list, of course. Maybe I'm not breaking any news there, Hasbro, sorry, but they have been on that list for a while. So I think some people that are really plugged in are, maybe not thinking that we need to worry about those guys, but who knows?
Yeah.
Max Rebo band. Max
I want
Rebo,
those and the Praetorians. Please.
Yeah, the Praetorians were a little lower, but they did fine. Okay, I'm not going over all the other ranks. I love you all. Submit if DM me if you really want them, so I can look at them later. But I want to say,
I gotta go soon. So unfortunately,
okay.
It's nearly 1 o'clock. Yeah.
Yep, sounds good. I'll just say personally, I got 16 of my top 25 on this list. I'm stoked about that. So.
Okay, I'll say first of all,
I lost count on about 10, I think.
Yeah. There's 22 lightsaber wielders on the list, so about
what, 1/3ish. Yeah.
I'll say I got 25 because I love all these characters and I want them all right now.
We all got 25 on this.
Yes, we're all winners here. Okay, so I'll say more housekeeping again. You already mentioned it, but next week I'll be doing a stream on Box Spanish channel going over the bracket. We will be revealing the bracket at some point before that. After Hasbro's stream, we'll be locking it in and putting it up and releasing it on our Instagram and everything else. So follow us on Instagram at SWTVC. It'll be in our link tree as well. Hopefully you have that bookmarked from when you submitted your lists. Stay tuned. I'll also be having the repeat characters this year. So I'll just say a little bit about that real quick, if that's okay. All the 5-timers club, that's the same 14 who were on the 4-time list last year, obviously. So all the characters that have been on the bracket up to last year, does that make sense? All 4 years, they all came back. Except for the ones obviously that were already made, which
remarkable consistency there,
Yeah. So the Hasbro, since last year, they made 4 of those 4-timers, which were Luke, Old Ben, the Tonikas, and Hammerhead. We still haven't seen some of those, but they are pipelined. There was 14 characters in the 5-timers club. There are 10 characters on the bracket in the 4-timer club and in the 3-timer club, and there's 14 in the 2-timers club. And there's 16 new characters this year.
Nice.
And from the media, there were 8 characters from Return of the Jedi, 5 characters each from The Bad Batch and The Mandalorian, 4 characters each from Revenge of the Sith, The Clone Wars, Rogue One, and Skeleton Crew. 3 each from A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Phantom Menace, Rebels, Rise of Skywalker, and Legends, or you can break that up into 1 each from Heir to the Empire, Shadows of the Empire, Knights of the Old Republic. Clone Commando might go in there. I don't know, however you want to count him, because he was from Republic Commando originally. 2 each from Solo, Ahsoka, and the Acolyte, and 1 each from Attack of the Clones, Jedi Fallen Order, The Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Andor. So
Good mix.
big spread with
Really
Return of the
good
Jedi
mix.
still taking up quite a bit of it.
Awesome. All right. Well, hey, is there anything else that you guys wanted to cover, or let's wrap this up?
I got more to say about the box dimensions of the case and the way.
Save it for next time, John. So we will be probably doing more live streams as we go. It's been kind of fun to do this more regularly. We'll be getting that going. But first and foremost, John, thank you so much for all of your hard work on all of this, dude. You're a legend.
Thank you.
I admire you. You've done some killer work here. We all owe you a life debt. So we'll all cram in the Millennium Falcon. All 176 of us still in the chat will all join you in your adventures. Thank you, dude. Appreciate you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Great.
Thanks for keeping the page running. Thanks for doing all the graphics and stuff for the live stream, keeping the stream running, Evan.
Yep. Tyler Lewis, thank you for keeping everything running smoothly, keeping us honest.
Just about.
Yeah. But so let's wrap this up. There you have it. There's this year's TVC March Madness contenders. Who out there, who are you hoping is going to win? Let's keep talking about it. It's going to be fun. So stay tuned. We'll be working on the details of getting the bracket out and the exact scheduling of the voting days. But to stay totally up to date on all March Madness developments, make sure you're following us over on Instagram. That's at SWTVC. One thing that we can say, voting will operate pretty much just like last year with Google form. In order to curb ballot stuffing and all that, we will require being signed into Google. If we had actual money to put behind this, we'd happily utilize something that was different, but those are expensive. Trust me, I have looked into it every year. So make sure you're prepared now. Not that I want to promote Google or anything in the slightest. If you're planning on participating in voting, which you'd better be for real, go ahead and get a login set up now, if only for March Madness. You don't have to use it for anything else. Just a reminder that while we are not at all affiliated with Hasbro in any way, shape, or form, they do pay attention to these community events. So the more data, the more participation, all that stuff that we can get, the better the message we can send. All right. I'm not even going to open up to anything else here. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button again if you haven't already. The audio from this stream will also be available soon via your favorite podcast provider for the SWTVC podcast. And Tyler's raising his hand. Yes, sir.
Yes. Before you close it out, without us getting to say it, thank you all for tuning in.
Yes.
Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for participating and submitting your lists. Thank you for being involved. Yep. Be sure to actually vote and not just submit your list and then whatever, participate in the voting, please. Even if your horses fall out of the race, please continue to vote.
Yes.
We because a lot of times we see, declining votes over the course of the tournament. Please continue to participate, even if you're voting against something that you don't want, please
try not to
vote.
do, but yeah.
I'm just saying, if you have no horses left in the race, still keep voting. We want your feedback. We want that data. So
as we always say, vote for what you would like to see first. It's not necessarily about what don't you want to see. It's just with that more optimistic approach. We are, all of this is made possible by the participation of viewers like you, to get a little PBS at you guys. This data is built on the community and the stuff that you all are submitting for us. So again, thank you, everybody. We appreciate you. Yes. With that, as always, keep 375 alive, back TVC, get ready for March Madness, and may the Force be with you.
Adios.